Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley.
Hello, David.
I'm also here with Sean Bell.
Hello, David.
Not creepy. Not Matt Murray this week. There's no Matt Murray this week. He is snowed under, so he can't be with us. But it should be back next week. Fingers crossed. Should we get on to the Patreon producers this month?
Go on, do it.
Yeah, go on then.
I'm always worried about these shows. I don't know if you've noticed, but that was a nervous intro. And that's because I know where these shows without Matt goes. Like, I guarantee within about half an hour we're going to be talking about, cereal or something. Do you know what I mean? If you're banging to your video games, probably skip this episode of the Computer Game Show and come back next week. Right, okay, the Patreon producers this month, they are Full Nelson, and they are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Mad Hans Gruber, and Graham McKay. They are the Full Nels crew, and they've gone on to patreon.com/TCGS to sign up to the Full Nels crew. Best people. They're the best people. But there are other people that support the show, and you can do too. If you like a bonus show, there's a tier there to get a monthly bonus show where we just talk about what's been going on for the past month and play little games here and there. There was a good one this month. It should be with you soon. I might be announcing this a little bit too early, but
I'm going
to a bunch of...
I'm going to do the edit tomorrow, I think. So
cool.
I think. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. I'm not just like, might do it tomorrow, might not.
Yeah. You might have heard this, Patreon people, but we played a game of Am I the Arsehole, where we seek out gaming related Am I the Arsehole posts and decide whether the person is indeed an arsehole or not. A little bit of a spoiler. Gamers and arseholes and then there's a talks over this month. We talked over a bunch of promotional VHS tapes for, what was it? It was a promotion for Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong Country,
the action replay.
Replay.
Fucking hell, that was weird.
That was the weirdest one, because who was it for? I don't know who it was for. Yeah. It was just utterly bizarre. But anyway, if you'd like to watch that, you can watch that now, a month before it goes on YouTube for everyone, by signing up to that tier. Go and check it out on patreon.com/TCGS. Right. Sean.
Hello.
I want to hear some feedback. They all loved the show last week, did they?
Mixed. Sora has been in touch, says, hello, Dad Bryans. I'm still listening to your backlog, and all I have to add is, for a while, a guy called John was on the show, and he was all right.
That's good. That's good.
So that means Sora's at the point where I was on paternity leave. That's still years ago.
That does feel like a long time ago.
Yeah.
How long has this been going on for now?
Too long.
Yeah. 2016? Did we start 2016?
Really?
Yeah, isn't it our birthday?
2017. I think it's our birthday in April, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I listened back to a bit of the Telling James Farley E3 episode. That was 2017. That show. I know, it's crazy. Ago. I mean, if you're going to listen to one E3 show, listen to that one, because hook, line, and sinker. Is the phrase to use there. But yeah, no, John, sorry, if you don't know what happened to John become a big time YouTuber. Search John Denton on YouTube. That's JON, not JOHN, as you've written in, which will infuriate him. John Denton on YouTube, and you can see he's a superstar now. Too big for us. Shame.
So it continues. For feedback on a recurring theme, your Game of the Year podcasts, why not just add championship to the title? Makes it clear it's not a normal Game of the Year thing, and there will be some shenanigans. It's not a terrible idea.
I love the idea, but I also like the idea of someone going, I'll listen to this Game of the Year show. Why are they screaming at each other? What's this about making deals? Why are they texting each other while the show's on? I kind of like the surprise element of that. Yeah. So,
They also added, by the way, this Google form has no spot to add a reply email or even mentions it. So unless a listener remembers that you lot said we need a reply address for questions, you're going to get submissions with no email. And no, main guy, they can remember we said to add an email isn't a good excuse for this managerial oversight. By the way, if there is a spot for email, it doesn't show up in Firefox, so your QA man let you down. Looking at you, serial thief. Right, there's a misunderstanding here.
I think we've got to stand up for Matt here because this is totally. I mean, I'm not. I hate this form.
That last line was definitely an afterthought of. Actually, I might be wrong, but I've still got a point to make. You've misheard what we were saying on that show. Do you want to explain, James?
Well, I mean, I hate the form as much as anyone does, but the fact that there's not an email address there, it's like we're not gathering email addresses, are we? It was because somebody wrote in and wanted.
It would be weird if we were gathering email addresses, regardless of if they sent them in or not.
Think of a better way to say that. And yeah.
We're sort of gathering them and selling them to third parties. That's the plan.
So the money's coming from.
Well, this is it, because now, like, regardless of how innocent it was, if people were putting their email addresses, we'd need a fucking GDPR policy, wouldn't we, and shit? So, but the point was, we had a request from a listener that needed to sort of stay off the show because it was a surprise for someone else. And they didn't leave any contact information. So that was all we were saying.
Yes. So we don't need your email addresses. In fact, actually, a lot of people don't want to be identified when they send us messages on that Google form anyway, do they? Hence the weird names reasons that we read out.
Speaking of, Johnny Spice Rack has been in touch.
That's a good... It's not an appliance, but I'll take it.
It's close enough. It says, hi lads, long-time listener.
Are we saying anything that can be found in a kitchen now?
Yeah,
is
definitely.
that where this is going?
I mean, I'm just leaving it to the listeners.
Because I'm all for that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Why do we need to get involved, Sean? Good point.
I think we'll know when they start getting too tenuous. I think we'll get a we'll have a sense for it.
Then we'll have to sit them down and say, look, you've had your fun, but it's time to stop.
Johnny Spicerack says, hi lads, long time listener and big fan of the show. Just a quick one regarding Matt's question about games which make you choose a side. The one that sticks in my mind is Shadow the Hedgehog on the GameCube. It blew my tiny mind when I was told I could choose to play the game as a goodie or a baddie, but I was bitterly disappointed to find that whatever you choose, every enemy attacks you regardless. The novelty wore off after trying to complete hero missions while racking up a body count of dead cops who wouldn't leave me alone. I'm sure Matt will remember this well, the big Sega fan that he is.
That was another dreadful Sonic game, wasn't it? As far as I know.
That was bizarre, wasn't it? I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic Adventure was fine, I guess. But when they were like, oh, he's got his own game and he's got guns.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. But, I mean, that was around the same time as that Prince of Persia game,
one? What was the Hedgehog one?
The Hedgehog one?
That was the last one I remember playing, the Hedgehog one.
The
Hedgehog
ones, Dave.
Sorry, the Hedgehog one. What was the one with the blue guy that ran fast? Which one was that? No, the Werehog. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Werehog?
Yeah. I don't know what that was in.
That was on the Wii, wasn't it, I think?
Was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. That was the last one I played, and when I just went, nope, no more. I'm done with this.
It's like, this is what a Sonic game needs. A version of Sonic that's really slow.
Yeah.
Got to slow down a bit. That was the catchphrase of that one, wasn't it?
Just take it easy.
Got to calm down. Just chill out.
Peter Pressure Cooker says, fathers, now it seems we're all seeking absolution for shitty scams we pulled when younger. I feel it's my turn to confess how I repeatedly fucked over my local video rental place when I was a kid. Spotting a theme here. This was during the 16-bit era. The shop did most of its trade with VHS rentals, but they had a fairly good selection of Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo games. The staff didn't appear to know or care much about movies, and even less about games. And one weekend, I realised I could take advantage of the situation. I'd rented Super Street Fighter 2, and I don't think I'd completed it before it was time to return the game, so I figured I'd put my copy of the old Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition in the box. Return that, and then go back to the store a couple of days later and admit to my, quote, mistake, and give them their game back. Either I lost my nerve or just didn't have time to go, but after a few days it became clear that they either didn't notice or didn't give a shit, so I just kept the newer and better game. At this point, I realised I could upgrade my old version of FIFA to the latest one. Managed to turn Desert Strike into Jungle Strike and swap Streets of Rage 2 for Streets of Rage 3 with the same tactic.
Oh my god.
Though admittedly the Streets of Rage thing might have been a mistake. The shop did go out of business, of course, but I'm blaming a Blockbuster opening nearby for that.
Oh, mate, imagine renting I'm going to rent a new FIFA, then you open up the case, there's the old FIFA in there. Do you know what I mean? I always think about what happens in the future with these stories.
Yeah,
like,
there is a victim further down the line, isn't there?
And you know what happened? That person goes in, rents the new FIFA, takes it home, opens it up, it's the old FIFA, they take it back to the shop and say, it's the old FIFA in here. Oh yeah, oh, is it? Suddenly it's the old FIFA in there, is it? Yeah, no, it is. You haven't just switched it out. You haven't just switched it out.
You want a refund, I suppose.
And then they're arrested. They're probably still in prison because of you.
Well, also, that guy's probably like just saying, oh, it's that fucking arsehole again that keeps on swapping the games out. It's happening again. It's bankrupting me, this is. It's like, you know.
Do you reckon they realised, when do you reckon they realised it was the old FIFA? Was it when they opened up the case or when they noticed David Beckham's hair hadn't changed? James, what do you reckon?
When they open up the case, I think, David.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. A little bit of a...
He's not willing to play the game, is he? He's not.
No, he'd had enough then, had he?
Yeah.
He'd had enough.
It was weak, though, David. That's why. It wasn't
You're weak. I don't know what's happened, rubbish.
I'll tell you who isn't weak. Nigel Nutribullet, who says, hey, team. Your recent Am I an Arsehole questions have reminded me of a scam run by a guy I went to uni with. I don't know if they still do it, but Game used to seal their games with stickers as proof that you'd not opened them. This lad, who was a bit of a weird little dickhead, had managed to nick a roll of these stickers from a store and sold them for $10 a strip around the university. This meant that you could go to Game, buy a brand new game at full price, play it for 28 days, whack a sticker on it and return it for full price. This led to a year of my housemate buying Fallout 3 and returning it to a different store every 28 days for about 6 months.
Unbelievable. What a weird thing to have in your possession.
And to sort of twig that there's the value to it. Yeah.
Well, it's odd as well, isn't it? Because
and then you're like, no, actually, this is a moneymaker.
The game kind of gave up on all that sort of stuff anyway. Didn't they have that crazy thing for a long time where you could return things? There was like a long period of time where you could return stuff.
So it was 28 days, but you didn't need any, it didn't matter if it was opened or not, did it? Yeah. That was the thing. And then they went, right, you have to be able to show that you've not opened it. Yeah. But then, Nigel Nutribullet's mate.
I once worked with a guy, this was when I was working in Milton Keynes, and HMV just started the most bizarre promotion offer ever. Was if you buy any CD, you can return it, no questions asked, within 10 days. Now, this was in the era of ripping CDs to hard disk. iPods were out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so he bought, I think it was like a 40 gigabyte iPod, which back then was insane.
Yeah.
And he just used it every single day, going to HMV, buy 20 CDs and bring them back the next day and buy 20 more CDs. And anytime they go, you were in here yesterday doing the same thing, you just rip it. You're not allowed to ask questions. Just give me my money back and I will buy. And he did that for about a year. It was ridiculous. And I wonder who come up with that promotional idea? It's so bizarre.
Because whoever's come up with it doesn't realise how little the average, sales assistant cares.
Because they can't stop it, can they? If that's the policy, that's the policy. I imagine an old fella in a flat cap, who's really high up at HMV, and he's sitting in a board meeting and everyone's going, this is madness, we can't be doing this, and he's taken the flat cap off, laid it on the table and just said, we need to trust people. We need to trust them. And it's snap to them closing the shutters on HMV and him just why? I will say this though, if you've got any stories like this, this is exactly what feedback should be about. Come email in with your stories like this, because this has been brilliant the past few weeks, hearing all of these different bits. Fantastic stuff. Keep them coming.
Right, John G says, top show, guys. Just so you know, I would bump my Patreon sub up to full Nelson if I could get a video message from James. Bully him into it. I mean, I don't think there's any bullying required. James, do anything for 40 quid?
I said I wasn't doing it. I'm not doing that.
Well, he's only getting 10 quid.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
sure, he's not getting the full whack of that full.
Yeah, but he's earning the collective 40 quid. And then, of course, he's happy to give away.
And then distributing it.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, because I was talking to Chen about this, and she advised me not to do it. She was like, she said,
"Is Chen your manager now?"
She was like, she actually said
every time.
She said, "Please don't do that." And so I've got to respect her wishes. I know, it's just weird, isn't it?
Surely it depends on the nature of the message. I think you're still allowed to refuse once you find out what the message is.
Yeah,
why is Chen getting involved so much? So we had the video messages we're not allowed to do now. The other night when we were doing the talks over, we asked you to do it from the shower that's in your bedroom.
Come on, that's just really
do that.
weird.
Apparently that wasn't allowed.
Exactly. This is, maybe we need to contact your representative, James, because right now your performance is not living up to scratch.
Right. This isn't going to get any better for you, James, I'll be honest. Tiny Tim says, hello, good sirs. I'm usually on the floor with laughter when I hear your show, but last week's episode had me standing in quite a fit of anger. When discussing Shortsgate, Mr. Farley shrewdly dismissed playing football with his kids as, quote, not playing seriously, 9 minutes, 22 seconds. How dare you? As an 11-year-old footballer, I'm proud of every opponent I defeat on the pitch until I face dads the likes of you, the kind that condescendingly act surprised at the fact that I can dribble a blooming ball. These are the kind that never put in the effort themselves out of fear of sweating all over their replica kit. Just know that the child community jeers at you lot. I love your show, but for fuck's sake, take pride in playing the national game.
Thank you, Tiny Tim.
I hope that's real.
That was not real.
I'm not even going to question it. What's the point in sitting here saying, "Oh, it's not real"? Don't worry about it. That's real. That's real with mine. Just take it as face value. James, you've upset the youth now, haven't you?
It's true though. It's not
the
playing
child
seriously.
Community.
I did it over the weekend. I did it again, and it was horrible because I fell over in the mud, and it was just.
It was.
You say it was horrible. I bet the kids loved it.
No, because it was really slippery, and I went to kick the ball, and I did that thing, and it must have looked terrible because I tried to kick the ball, and I fell straight on my back, and everything was mud everywhere. And Asher thought it was really funny.
Well, there you go, job done.
And I was like, no, we're going home now. That's it. It was.
For Christ's sake.
I'm joking. Of course, I didn't do
that. I played a game because I went for a kickabout with Harry in the park this weekend, and we played a game where we stood on a post each in a goal, and we had to try and hit the other post from where you stood. And it was the first one to do it 3 times, won, right? So we had 4 games, and I won all 4 of them, right? And it got to the 5th game, and I'm thinking, go a little bit easy. Tell you what I'll do. I'll let him get, I'll maybe go 2-0 up and then let him win, right? So that I know in my head that I could have beaten you, but I'm doing the dad thing here. That he went 2-0 up, and I was like, I'm not having it now. I'm definitely going to try and win this. I'm not letting you do me. So anyway, I pulled it back to 2-2, and then he won, and I was furious all the way home. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Really? Because I do that all the time. I always let them win with stuff like that. But I like to build it up a bit, though. Like you said, I go ahead a bit first. I like to make it feel like they've earned what they've earned it. That it's not just a whitewash.
A bit of drama.
I can't do it. I can't do it. There's something in my head that's like, no, you've got to learn to lose. What was it? What do you call it? The point that you're making though about playing football in a park, James. I don't know. Like, I could be on a football pitch, right? A 5-a-side football pitch with like a bunch of kids playing, and if I kick the ball and it goes into the top corner, it feels as good as if I was scoring in a World Cup final. Not that I know what that feels like, but at the same time, if it goes top corner, I'm just like, fucking yes, like I tense up and stuff. Like, I don't give a shit if it's like a bunch of kids playing football. It's the best. I always take it seriously, James. Take your shin pads, take your boots. Let's go play some football.
No, I can't be bothered.
Come on, because if we're going to have a 5-a-side game against Kane and Rince at some point, you've got to be wearing shorts.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Can't I go in goal? If I go in goal, then I don't have to. I can just wear trousers.
Are you any good in goal?
No. I'm too short.
Then no. Then no. Sean will go in goal.
Oh, what? No, I'm good in defence, mate.
I don't believe that at all.
Look, I can get in the way, right? I can't do anything
That's not what
else.
defenders do.
But I can get.
We'll see. All right, okay, go on.
Matt King says, "Hi, lads. Just wanted to say that the PS5 does, in fact, have a web browser, but it isn't directly accessible. You can open it by clicking a link sent in messages, though. I just send a message to myself from an alternate PSN account with a link to a Twitch channel that I'm watching, then pop out the chat and pin it next to the side of the screen. That way I can watch Twitch full screen on my tablet next to me while playing a game on the TV with the Twitch chat in a strip at the side. Then if I want to type anything in the chat, I use my phone. I'm living my best triple screen life over here, and Sony can't stop me."
That sounds crazy.
Well complicated.
I mean, I've read that. I was too busy reading that out to actually visualise. Does that even...
Right, so you on the TV, you've got the game and the Twitch chat.
Right.
On your iPad, you've got full screen video of the Twitch channel.
Yep. And then type any messages with the phone. Yeah, okay. I mean, I say okay. It's still odd.
It's not odd, is it? I mean, if it works for you, then all fine, but I cannot imagine it working for me in any way, shape, or form.
No.
That seems nuts. All right.
Garrison Savannah.
So you can't get that browser up.
Garrison Savannah says, "I'm with Matt on the keyboard thing. When I got a new PC last year, I got a nice £150 Corsair keyboard for my birthday. I use it all the time now that I'm working from home and really notice the high quality switches and keycaps when I use it so much. Wasn't really into the RGB that much, but the plain white backlighting is nice. And playing games, it's handy to be able to highlight keys, different colours for inventory, skills, etc. to help remember which ones do what. Also recently got a relatively expensive Logitech mouse, and it's so much nicer than my previous one. Much smoother to use and hardly ever needs charged. Defo worth spending the money on this stuff if you're using it all the time."
Okay.
Garrison, though. But I think our point was that Matt doesn't... he doesn't play PC games. Does he work on... Does he do his work on his own PC? I didn't think he did.
I don't know. I don't know. But I was trying to find the best way of highlighting how crazy that whole thing was, right? Mm-hmm. If someone's to come to you and say, "Look, I've got some dead simple but a little bit boring work, right? And I want you to do this work over the period of about 3 years, right? You got to do it pretty much every day. It's only like 10 to 15 minutes a day, but you got to do this work for 3 years straight. Okay, what are you paying me? 1 keyboard. Okay, I'll do it."
No, it depends. Is the keyboard low profile or not?
That's true.
How low profile is that keyboard? Is it mechanical? Because I don't want mechanical. It is mechanical. Okay, I'll still do it
anyway. Does it sound like I'm using a terminal in Fallout 4?
Right, go on, let's go.
This one came in 3 separate times. I think we've upset Ray Tracing. He says, "Can you please stop using my name in your podcast?"
We'll do our best, Ray.
Yeah. You're a current hot topic, Ray. There's nothing.
You certainly are.
There's no getting around it. Darren Gargett. Sorry, I should have lumped this with the other scams. This is a very good one.
You were going to say something else then.
In response to odd ways to make money from the last week's joyous episode, I was once known for a brief moment to charge people to finish levels of GoldenEye 007 on 00 Agent and also unlock the cheats, mainly the invincibility one, brackets, facility 00 Agent, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I spent the money on sweets.
I'll tell you something.
Nice. That's a great way of making money.
But he must have been livid when they released all the actual cheats for it. So you didn't need to do that anymore.
True, yeah. Done him out of...
completely destroyed his business. Mm-hmm. But also, right, I mean, I've been in situations like this before, not for money, but where a kid wanted to see the end of a game, but he couldn't beat the final boss or whatever, like a nephew or someone like that. Mm. And they've gone, "Oh, David's a nerd. Stick him in front of it. He could do it." And I'll go, "Look, I'll give it a go." And then I couldn't. It was the 500 moon challenge for my nephew, which I'd done 3 or 4 times before. Mm-hmm. But then when I was sitting like in his bedroom trying to complete it for him because he just wanted to see the ending and he couldn't do the 500 moon challenge, I was like, with the pressure of him just watching it with all that hope, I tried for about an hour and a half. I couldn't do it, and I was like, I'll try it next week. Just never went back there again.
You need
I've not seen my nephew since that day 5 years ago.
You needed the action replay, Dave. You know, the no limits, true, no waiting. You know, it'd have been fine.
Oh, there was limits, there was waiting. And what was the other one? I can't even remember the other slogan. Jesus, that's bad, isn't it?
It wasn't
no
good,
limits.
It was no limits, no waiting, no. What was the other one?
Oh my God, this is going to do me in. The action replay slogan. Come on, no limits. We saw it about 1 million times.
We did, yeah. Come on,
yeah,
Sean.
There was a lot of other stuff going on screen and a lot of noises. So it's quite.
There was a lot of noises.
Right, let's move on. It will come to me at some point.
Fizzy Wazzle has been in touch. It says, has Dave got beef with me and the Bozzle Boys? Don't pay to mess with us, son. Consider yourself on notice.
That's my favourite email we've had in ages. That is brilliant.
I mean, this next one might top it.
Okay.
This is from Graham McKay, the new Full Nels member.
Oh, yeah.
He says, didn't realise I'd got stoned and upped my Patreon to Full Nels until I listened to the start of last week's show. But now, now I've heard my name up there in the Full Nels crew. There's no going back. I mean, this came in like Wednesday morning when the show went up. That's what made me laugh the most.
Did anyone contact Graham McKay?
Nope.
Oh, so I mean,
what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to reach out and offer him a refund?
Is that what was... Well, I mean, we've established that there's no way of contacting people that has put messages on the Google form.
No, well, he's a patron, so I think we could send him a message. But I don't think it's asking for a refund. Bother. I think we're okay.
Okay, fine. Good, because you ain't getting one. Right. I'm joking.
Money's already spent, mate.
How do you accidentally do that?
I mean, I've never been stoned. I gather it can lead to. I gather it can lead to some poor decision making. I
realised that I'd got stoned and up my. The shock of hearing your name in that list. What?
Is that what?
Checking your bank account. Well, anyway, thanks, Graham. Appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers.
Appreciate you.
We will spend your money responsibly. That's it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. You do not have to leave your email address unless you require a private response.
No, it's cool.
I mean, even then, you probably won't get one.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right, okay. Should we get onto the news this week, James? What you got for us?
Well, it's annoying because I was quite excited.
Go on, you go on.
Well, no, I was quite annoyed, really, because I had 3 pieces of news, and I thought that's great. Three pieces of solid, mediocre news. Well, no, because I just thought...
Why did you think it was great?
Because I thought this is not going to take forever, to like go through everything. But then,
well, if you start moaning about it, maybe that'll.
Do you know what, Sean? Do you remember last week when he was going, "Why? It's not fair that you're saying that I'm not into it anymore. My heart's not in it."
No,
and this week he's going, "I want it to be over."
It's because I want quality, and that's the problem. Because
you just said they were 3 pieces of mediocre news.
Exactly, these are mediocre news, and then there's some other stuff that's happened today, which is very subpar. But like, I'm still obviously I have to include it.
And it's just quality's the issue. You're the one editing it. You choose. No,
because then if I don't include it, everyone goes, "Oh, why didn't you include like whatever?" And it's just like
Matt's not here.
Because it's boring.
I'll you'll be giving feedback next week, won't you? So
yeah, that's true. Go. So anyway, the first bit of news is that Sony have unveiled these are prototypes for the Ps5 VR controllers, and they look They look kind of interesting, I think. I mean, each controller has adaptive trigger buttons, and they offer like the resistance, like you get on the not the game, like you get on the PS5 DualSense controller, and also they have this finger sensor thing that detects where your fingers are being placed, and then it replicates those gestures in the game as well, which is...
And they look weird. I mean, when you first look at them, they look weird. It's like putting your hand in one of those... Do you know those little plastic toy ball things that you can pull and then they get massive? You know them, right?
What?
They're like multicoloured, spiky ball things, and then you can pull them. It was in big. The first time I saw him was in big. He holds one and he's spinning it around in his hands, and then he opens it up, and then they're like 80 times the size or whatever.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, they're kind of like Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, they're cool. Whenever
this won't work now. This won't work now, but it looks like you're putting your hand in one of them. Sorry, Sean, that means nothing to you, does it?
It's fine. It's fine.
One of them, I've gone.
But it's also got controller tracking, which is now achieved by like there's a ring at the bottom of each controller, and the headset follows that rather than having to use like the light bar and all that kind of thing that it did with the DualShocks. And it says the rest of the inputs are the same as the standard controllers, so it's got like L1, L2, R2, and all that sort of stuff. And it's got analog sticks as well. So exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing it brings to the table that the others don't is the adaptive triggers, right?
Yeah, and also the haptic feedback, presumably. I think there'll be. Yeah,
the haptic feedback. But I think the first thing I thought when I saw this is that it's going to be pricey, isn't it, all this?
It definitely is.
They look pretty premium, don't they?
Yeah.
I just think it's the wrong direction to go. I just really do. I really think it's the wrong direction to go. No, I just want something... Right. I've explained this before on the show, but I would say PSVR was a success, right? Mm-hmm. And it seemed to be a success when it dropped down to that $199 price point, right? Yeah. And there was tons and tons of PS4s out there, and they dropped it down to the $199 price point, and then people started picking them up.
Yeah.
I would suggest that a large percentage of that audience is not going to be prepared to buy a new PSVR headset because they probably had their fun with it for a month and then put it away. So they'd be thinking, well, we had the PSVR, we didn't use it that much. So I think a large portion of that audience, they're just not going to get, they're spending out £450 on a console, and then, which I can only assume about £400 on this headset as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be less than 350 or whatever, is it?
I don't think it will.
It sort of needs to be, because the Quest is 300, and all right, there's compromises. There's compromises with the Quest because obviously it's all onboard processing. Like, PS5 VR games are of course going to look better. It's probably going to be a better library too.
Yeah, but I don't think the general public really give a shit. If you want to go for the mainstream or whatever, I don't think they're looking at Quest and going, the graphics aren't good enough.
Exactly.
They're just blown away with the fact
and again,
that
in terms of general accessibility, the fact that the PS5 one is still going to be wired, that's going to feel like a huge compromise.
Okay, this is the other thing as well, because I've been thinking about that, right? So the one thing that people loved about the Quest is that I took it to the office and people stuck it on their head and they played games on it. I took it round people's houses. I stuck it on their head. They were playing Vader Immortal or whatever. And it was a massive success, and loads of people were like, how much are they? Where can I get one? Loads of people. But if I want to do that with this, I mean, who knows what the future holds, right? And by the time this comes out, there might be a slim PS5 or whatever. But I've got to take the world's biggest console and the headset and those controllers, hook it all up, and then let them use it. It's like,
you see,
it's not going to happen, is it?
I like the idea that they're probably going to... It looks like they're going to go with something that's going to be like quite a lot more powerful than PSVR was, because, let's be honest, PSVR was kind of hacked together, like whatever they had left in the parts bin. That's what they had.
The power comes from the power comes from the console itself, not the headset. Yeah. So but it's going to be way more powerful.
The accessories and all that kind of thing were, it was using the motion controllers and stuff like that. They're all from like PS3 era and stuff like that. Yep. So I like the fact that they're doing something with this, but I still really think that they had an opportunity here to create something that was maybe like 200 quid or whatever that was standalone, that could have just played all those old PS4 like VR games and stuff like that. I reckon that would have done really well. I think if they'd have done that.
100%. 100%. If you could play Astro Playroom on the Quest, like what? That'd be amazing.
Because that was the strength that PSVR had, was there are a lot of good games for it, like really good games for it. Yeah. And it's just a shame that I don't think that's ever going to reach a larger audience. And while I think it's good, it'd be interesting to see what we're going to get with this. Is the software support going to be there this time? Because it's pretty much dried up. I mean, it dried up for PSVR after about a year, of it coming out, and then suddenly there was very little coming out for it anymore.
They were still bringing stuff out. I mean, but Sony was still doing first-party stuff, but it wasn't regular.
And it's, I just worry that this could be the end, really, of this. Like, this comes out, no one buys it, and then it's just like, well, that's
I'll say
the end
this, Half-Life Alyx needs to be a launch title for PSVR on the on the PS5.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they really need to get that on their day one.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. Yeah. We will see.
Yeah.
It's weird that they're announcing all this stuff. Like, they did that announcement a little while ago, saying PSVR VR2 is coming or whatever they want to call it. And we were like, okay. And they were saying, oh, it's not coming out next week. It's, it's a while off. And then this one, the controllers.
But they've done the same thing with the PS5 though. They released quite early on. They released information about it, and then they kind of kept drip feeding
but they didn't
bits.
show us things until about a month before.
No, they didn't show us the actual console, but they told us tech specs and stuff like that quite far in advance of it not actually coming out, and it feels like they're doing the same sort of thing. And because maybe it worked for them last time, I don't know, but yeah,
it must have done. They've been flying off the shelves, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So also there was a Square Enix. They did a digital showcase last week, and it was 40 minutes long. I've got a list of the things. So we had. I mean, this is not
in chronological order, James.
It's not in chronological order, but Matt's not here, so it's fine. So we had Space Invaders AR. They showed that off. I thought I'd get the rubbish stuff out of the way. Although I know maybe some people really like that.
It's a mobile game, right?
Yeah.
Where you can play Space Invaders in your flat because it's the only place you're allowed to be right now.
I don't know if I need.
Is that out already?
I don't know. I've not looked.
Yeah, if it is, I feel sorry for him because no one's fucking mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Then we had Just Cause Mobile. I didn't even see that bit. I think I kind of glazed over.
Well, this was a trailer that I'm pretty sure we've already seen, and it was just all pre-rendered stuff. Don't get me wrong. The fact that it appears to just be like a very silly multiplayer Just Cause title, I'm interested. But obviously, the fact that it's on mobile.
Speaking of mobile, James, I'm leading you onto Hitman Sniper Assassins.
Yeah. So there's. Why did you suddenly say it like that? I thought you were gonna. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Because this is another mobile game.
I know it is, but I thought you were gonna expound on something more than that. Just that's what the next game is as well.
Fucking
weird.
Hell.
That was weird. But anyway, so yeah, Hitman Sniper Assassins.
You know when people like email in and say, you know what I love about the show? The chemistry.
Yeah, Hitman Sniper Assassins is coming. It's a Hitman game. I mean, that was also pre-rendered trailer, wasn't it? There wasn't really anything.
And I mean, is it a Hitman game?
No, it's a sniper game that they've put Hitman on because that's a known franchise. So
but that's odd because
I thought
obviously what's the ownership there? Because obviously Square Enix published the reboot Hitman, but then they let it go. But
they could buy back the license, or maybe maybe this was already in development when they sold them, and
it was years ago though.
Maybe they had like the license for mobile versions or something.
Years and years of quality development. This is out of order. We've not played the game. Might be fun, but I don't know. Mobile gaming is just dead to me at the moment. I still play Freeze pretty much every day, and my little poker game. But that's it. We've mentioned it before. Do you remember when mobile gaming was like, oh my God, have you tried this?
This is where all the innovations it is going to be from now on.
It was great though, wasn't it? Also, just in general with like app stores and stuff, how it was like, there's a new app out, it does like whatever, and it was like even getting an update, even getting like an update to an app. Often it added loads of really cool, interesting stuff.
Oh, check the patch notes.
Yeah,
let's go. Now. It's fucking Friday night.
Hold on, I don't remember ever doing this.
Really?
I mean, this part of the nostalgia is not part of mine. Check the patch notes.
Sometimes they added a lot of interesting new stuff that it could do.
They've updated the Flickster app. Let's fucking go.
I remember being around my mate's house at counting down to midnight. 3, 2, 1. Refresh your fucking phone. Quick, try and force it to look for an update. It's there. I've downloaded it.
What's in the patch notes? Oh, stability improvements. Oh, fucking hell.
See you next week.
Then we had, I'll move on to Tomb Raider. So they showed off like what they're calling the Definitive Survivor Trilogy. So this is like the three, it's like Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They put together into one package, and they haven't like updated it at all, I don't think. It's just
that's
basically
what annoyed me the most. I was like, put ray tracing in it. Sorry, Ray. put ray tracing in it. Do all that shit. Fucking that game looks amazing. But anyway, actually, maybe it's just not that. Maybe it's not that easy. Have you ever thought of that, Sean? Have you ever thought that it might not be easy to just flip the
switch? You just flip the switch. I don't know what you.
Yeah, well, you watch it. I've just checked. I've played now. It's taken me this long to get to this number because it counts them up individually. But I've played 29,413 games of Freeze now. That's bad, isn't it?
Didn't you have an event where you did 20,000?
10,000. I did the event when I got to 10,000, and then I said that was going to be my last one. I played nearly double, like 200% worth of that or whatever. Yeah, cool.
Yes, there's that, and there's also a Tomb Raider cookbook, because this is like 25th anniversary stuff that they're doing, and so they're not actually, they didn't seem to be showing any new games as such, but...
No, yeah. Sorry, there's a what?
There's a cookbook coming. Like a survivor cookbook, you know, like roasting stuff, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, it's a survivor trilogy, isn't it? It's like... You know, that was the whole thing with that, wasn't it? You know, like surviving in the jungle and doing your hunting and stuff.
This is like the site you get free with a special edition or something.
Basically, yeah. Although you have to buy it, I think.
They're not legitimately
releasing
I'll
buy the cookbook
Tomb
second.
Raider
I'm not
cookbook.
playing the fucking games. Can we...
Sean, you're getting that cookbook and doing a Bell's Kitchen for every single recipe in it.
I was going to say, when COVID's over, can we all go camping? And just bring the Tomb Raider cookbook. Well, I'll nip to Waitrose, obviously.
No, I've got better things to do.
But
Sean, I don't know.
I've got what I'd like to do, Sean, is I'd like you to go out into the woods with a bow and arrow, and then also we could use your drone to film you trying to shoot a deer. I think it'd be quite interesting. And
have a similar moral quandary over it.
Yeah.
If the bow and arrow don't work, you can borrow one of James' 8 guns that he's got in his loft.
Anyway,
stashed in his
that's true story. Go on.
It's not true story. Then they went on to Avengers, and they tried to show what they got for
that. Remember that game?
Well, it was DLC, so they showed off. It was Hawkeye, and so I don't know. I saw that, but then they had another trailer for Black Panther, and I got excited, and I was like, "Oh look, there's a Black Panther game. This looks brilliant." It's like, "Oh, it's Avengers. It's just DLC."
It's all right, the Avengers game is okay, right? It's absolutely
it's not
fine.
Enough, is it?
But they also made it worse, didn't they, recently?
It would have been better if... Because I wonder if this is the lesson that's been learned with Outriders, right? Because, you know, they've said it's not a service game, even though it looks and sounds a lot like one. Because I think... And you know, like when I mentioned that, Matt was like, well, no, that's actually really nice, because that's far less intimidating to a grown adult with a job, right? And I wonder, I wonder if this is the lesson they've learned from Avengers. Because Avengers didn't need to be a service game. Absolutely didn't. What I've played of the campaign is perfectly enjoyable, but I'm actively put off by the fact that it's like, oh, and then you'll finish the campaign and then you still won't really feel like it's over because there's a load of other bullshit you're going to have to engage with. And I don't need that from an Avengers game. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
But I will say this, and you know, it's not that I don't trust your opinion, and that wasn't said as a gag. No, I genuinely... But you're the only one that I've ever heard say, actually, it's pretty good. Like, honestly, anyone that I've heard talk about it is just like, it's just fucking nothing. I can't say that because I've not played it. It's not my opinion. Mm-hmm. I haven't played the game, but I've heard, I suppose what I'm trying to say is that I've heard literally no buzz about it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that recently they've updated it and made the grind worse. And they did it on purpose because they said they wanted to make it so it felt like more of an achievement, like when you were grinding. Which, I mean, surely that's not a good idea.
Yeah, fuck that. And the other main issue with it is that, you know, game as a service, but then you're getting items and equipping them and increasing your stats, but it doesn't change the appearance of your character because they want to sell you costumes. So it's a bit wank.
I mean, a bit like Google Stadia. If anybody is actually playing it, I'd like to know if they could write in. And just let us know why it's good.
Let us know. You're wrong. It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, also just putting such a big focus on Hawkeye was weird. Is he anyone's favourite character?
I don't think so.
I don't even know who he is, Sean.
Well, there you go.
My son hates him. He just says he's rubbish. And
well, there you go.
He doesn't like him at all.
What does Hawkeye do?
You
just look at
stuff.
Yeah, it's bow and arrow stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the best superhero power.
It's not great. No, he just has different kinds of arrows. No, it's actually, you'd love it, Dave, because in the Avengers films, it's actually, even though it's not played for laughs at all, it's a fucking joke because everyone else has got superpowers and he's just like, oh, I'll use a fire arrow now, I guess.
Yeah. yeah. You know that story. What superpower would you have? Invisibility, flight, supersonic speed? Just bow and arrow. Just give me a
bow and arrow, but with different types of arrows, please.
But be really good at it. You know,
people. I could go to a party and put an apple on someone's head.
Yeah, I can do flips between shooting the bow and arrow.
Yeah. You would look pretty good at centre parks. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you get a job as an entertainer.
Yeah, every time you go to centre... No, I'm thinking about, centre parks, they have archery bits.
Oh, right, you just show up and just embarrass all the other kids.
Yeah, and just go, which way do I hold the bow and arrow? Which way do I hold it? And then just get 8 bullseyes in a row, like Robin Hood.
We did that once, and Chen got in trouble.
I'm off to the lazy river.
Wait, what? Chen got in trouble? Why?
We did it in China once with it was target practice and stuff like that, and one of the things was archery, and Chen did it and she got in trouble because she couldn't pull the bow back far enough. Right. And she just kept laughing, and the guy got really angry and said, "This is not a laughing matter."
They do. They totally do, right? So same over here, because obviously I've done a lot of archery. I was in the Boy Scouts, yeah? I was in the Boy Scouts. Yeah. And what do you do with Boy Scouts? Take them to archery, because there's nothing else to do, right? So I did a lot of archery. And oh my God, the instructors are very, very, very serious. And I get it, because they must have had a lot of kids dicking about. You know what I mean? And you just go, no, actually, if you do fuck this up, someone's dead and it's my fault, right? So I get it. But at the same time, when you're doing archery, you don't need the teacher going, no, you're not supposed to hold it that way. You could take someone's eye out. So then you just turn the bow and arrow on them and just ping them a few of their legs, and then you get out for the rest of the day. You go and do something else. It's great. Go on.
Next game was Balan Wonderworld. They showed us
Wonderworld. I bet you were loving this.
We didn't mention this in the news, did we? But basically, they confirmed that it's still getting pushed out at the same release date, and with some stuff patched, but basically none of the stuff people actually complained about.
Did you see the comment about it? That was really funny. Was the guy was saying, "We've received a lot of useful feedback. Unfortunately, we can't fix any of these things.
Can't do anything about it."
Yeah. That was the feeling I got. It was as if to say, "We hear you, but I mean, this is going to take a long time to try and fix, and even if we spend that time, it's not going to be good." All right, so
it's like you're asking us to make a completely different game, to this one.
Yeah. I mean, it basically might have said, "Look, we hear you. However, it is nearly the end of the financial year, so."
And let's face it, just because the person's whose name's on it, it's gonna sell some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we want that money. What a joke. You're buying this, I assume, James?
Of course not.
Oh, fuck off.
Why on earth would I buy it? Why would I buy this? It looks awful and it plays awful.
Sorry, James. Why would you download it on 3 different systems?
I downloaded it on 2 different systems because I wanted to see if it was bad on all of them. And it was.
And was
Brilliant.
it?
Okay. Why would I buy it? Just keep downloading. You'll see it. It'll drop to about £10. You'll buy it.
I won't.
There's
no chance I'm going to buy this game. Absolutely no chance.
We'll get a message saying, "Would it make for a funny stream?" And that's when I'll know that James will buy it.
The only way that I've already streamed it and it was dreadful. The only way that would happen is if it was on Game Pass, because there's no way I'm paying money for this. It's awful.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that if it come out on Game Pass, you'd buy it on PS5 anyway. That's what you do, isn't it?
Never done that, Dave.
James, you already own that game. You already own that game, so I'll just buy it on PS5 anyway.
I did that on once.
Never done that?
I did it once for Cyberpunk. Yeah, that was it.
Well worth it. Money well spent.
Anyway.
No, I was going to say something. I've forgotten what it was.
Good.
Then they showed Outriders. They showed Outriders for ages, which I guess. I mean, Sean, you think this looks good, yeah?
Oh yeah, I played loads of the demo. It's really good.
Sean likes it.
It's it's not going to set the world alight. It's just very fun, and we will all have access to it because it's coming to Game Pass. So
yeah. I mean, we need something,
guys. That's all I'm saying. If you want
to, I'm terrible because I looked at this game and I just thought, who cares? It looks
generic as fuck. 100%.
Yeah, I know, but like at the same time, I'm going, this year's game's coming out, this is fuck all, and it all looks shit. Like,
See, I looked at this.
It's a new game. Maybe I should play it. What is the matter with me?
I looked at this and thought it looked all right, but again, it's only 3-player co-op, isn't it? I think again.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, you're so bloody popular, James.
For new listeners, James has this real weird thing where he thinks that games should only be 4 players.
No, I don't think they should only be 4 players, but lots of people play with 3 other people online. You know, it's
okay.
just
2.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it just irritates
Lots
me.
of people play with 2 other people online as well, don't they?
I'm sure. Anyway, next was
I should. Sorry, before we move on. Yeah, so this is what was a bit weird. Is they've been absolutely clear. It's not a game as a service. It's got RPG elements, but there is a campaign with an end, and that's it. But then they announced, it's got like end game content, and they didn't use the word raids, but yeah, they basically implied it's got like super tough end game stuff. For if you're really keen by the time you finish the campaign.
Yeah, but that could just be like extra modes at the end of it.
It could,
right?
yeah, or just like same
like
mission,
playing through a campaign in Gears or something, and then playing the Horde mode afterwards or some shit. Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah.
Then we had Project Athia, which is now called Forspoken. But what is this? Because I'd kind of checked out by this point.
They showed this no, when did they show it? They've shown footage of this before, and I think it was the first PS5 showcase, wasn't it? I think this looks great. However, the footage they showed on this occasion didn't really reveal anything extra, did it? There was the woman who's playing the main character was talking about it a bit, but we didn't really learn anything new other than the title.
I don't really remember much about this at all. I'm looking at screenshots now. It's not really bringing anything to...
It was the one with the woman with the wearing Converse and a cloak, sort of dashing around and making roots come out of the ground and shit. It looked really nice.
Okay, all right. We'll see what happens with that. Did they have a release date for that, or
no?
I think it's ages off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. A while. And then we kind of finished up. We had Life is Strange remasters, so they're all being bundled together and remastered in some way and coming to everything.
Was it just Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm? I didn't see any mention of Life is Strange 2.
No, it's Life is Strange 2 as well. That
it is? Okay.
Yeah,
was it really?
Yeah. It was on there, yeah. And then we've got the new one, obviously, they showed, which is Life is Strange True Colours, which I thought...
Right, okay, let's get this out of the way, right, okay. So... You all know that we're Life is Strange fans. We play them. We do spoiler casts on them. We're really excited. And we were saying just last week that we were really looking forward to seeing a new one because we all kind of feel ready for a new one now, right? Another thing we've said about Life is Strange so much is that as much as we love those games, trying to convince people to play them is a fucking nightmare. Because you're like... it's set in a high school... And this girl's got powers, and it's more about the love that you have with the characters around you rather than what you're actually doing. And also, the first episode's a bit shit because they all say hella and stuff like that. But just ignore that. And it's kind of like a teen drama. Like, it's impossible to sort of... get people interested in it. Yeah. And then when I saw this trailer, I just thought, you've made it even harder. Because I watched it and I loved it and I'm properly excited for it. But when I have to tell people, the new Life is Strange looks good, you affect the world with the power of empathy. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking last week, it was like, it's going to be invisibility, right? Yeah, invisibility, or flight, could be flight. Yeah, what's the power going to be? And they literally said the power of empathy. And I was like, oh my God, how do I tell my friends that this is a good game? When they see me on their Xbox Live friends list playing that, how am I going to defend myself? Sean, how? I mean, how am I going to do that?
It's a good game.
I was going to say, if you've got the sort of mates who are going to have a go at you for playing stuff like this, Dave, time to get new mates.
Yeah.
No, I like my mates. They make me laugh and they make me happy. So you stop judging them, Sean. How about that?
Oh no, he's turned it round.
No, seriously though. I mean, it looks so. I'm so excited for this.
It looks fucking gorgeous. I'm properly excited.
I think it also hit that stupid, there's a mystery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, something's happened, and the story
Not
is basically
everything's quite as it seems. Ooh.
Yeah, you reconnect with your brother for the first time in, what was it, 12 years?
Yeah.
You reconnect with your brother, you move to the town that he's been living in, and he suddenly dies. But by accident, it would seem as a tragic accident. But it already's kind of like, whoa, maybe it wasn't an accident. And whoa, you know what I mean? And it's such like fucking roll your eyes horse shit that I fucking love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. The music, the visuals looked like that town looked fantastic. And the interesting thing is that two things that I noticed. One, no mention of Game Pass, which really surprised me, because when we were talking about this a few weeks ago privately, we just all assumed that it would launch straight to Game Pass, because that's what they've done in the past, and those games always end up in Game Pass anyway. But secondly, they're dropping the episodic nature of Life is Strange, which I think is probably the right thing to do. As much as I will defend that made Life is Strange very special, and it really did. I think for Series 1 it worked the best, because it was like every month, was it? It was like every 3 weeks or a month, a new episode would drop, and it would build the conversation. So those that were into Life is Strange, something would happen, there'd be a cliffhanger at the end, and everyone would be trying to work out what happens in the next episode, right? And it was exciting being in that scene while it was going on. Series 2, it was like 3 months between episodes, and it was like, no, that's too long.
Yeah,
like it was, scenes where they're going, "Hey, I just can't stop thinking about Brian." And like, Brian from 2 episodes ago. The bit where
it's like
where the bear and the
each episode, you really, really need that recap, like at the beginning.
Yeah, you do. So I think it's the right thing to do, but it's a shame because I do still appreciate the spacing out of the episodes. I think that's really
the only other thing
as well. It'll be like we've seen that, like, financially, it doesn't do anything.
No.
Like I think I've said before, the no clip documentary about Hitman. So when they made that episodic, which again I think worked in a way, because each level in Hitman, you can like rinse the fuck out of it. So there'd be a month-long conversation about things people have found in the levels, etc., etc. It did work, but they said like most people just bought, like they pre-ordered the full game sight unseen. It wasn't like, oh, let's check out the first episode and maybe buy some of the others. That just didn't really happen. So I'm guessing, and again, it's definitely going to be the same with Life is Strange, because ultimately, who's going to go in thinking, well, I'll buy 2/5 of the story.
But then the good thing about that, though, was that you could get in, like, relatively cheaply. Do you know what I mean? I know, like, over the period of time, you're paying the same, but it's a cheaper, entry.
Yeah, also, it was, like, definitely, like, it's only £3 for the next episode, I might as well. You know what I mean? I don't know. But obviously it doesn't work, as you say. Obviously it doesn't work. So hopefully this brings the series back into the limelight, because as good as Series 2 was, and it was excellent, no one was really talking about it. I mean, there was nothing more embarrassing than going to that EGX talk in this big, stage, loads of seats, that was about quarter full, while James was checking the Domino's app on his Apple Watch.
I was sitting there thinking, if Dave doesn't mention that, I am going to.
It was,
that was a shame.
It wasn't riveting, was it? It's like,
No, I was pretty disappointed with the actual talk as well, but there you go.
But so obviously, for me, any potential anxieties about this not being by Don't Nod are completely out the window. I think. Obviously, wait until we actually play it, but from what we've seen in the trailer, it looks like they've absolutely nailed the tone and the style of it.
Yeah.
Visually, if nothing else, like that sort of constant, golden hour sort of low sun look. It just looks fucking stunning, I thought.
It does, yeah. They've produced 4 Life is Strange episodes.
Yep.
3 of them were incredible. 1 of them was really duff. So I've got faith. I've got faith in this. I have a feeling that the reason why that one was duff was because they had to try and cram about 3 episodes of stories into one, and it didn't really work out. But I'm looking forward to this, definitely.
Okay. Should we move on to the next story?
Yes, please.
We'll have a bit more silence if you want.
Come on, that silence was like literally like a second. It's just.
No, I think we're on a delay. I apologise.
And it's also I don't know if you were going to go on something else with it. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And also,
Sony jointly acquires fighting game tournament Evo.
Yeah, well there you go. That's the next story. So Sony have acquired Evo. I don't really care about this, but I thought we should probably include it as a thing.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, but where does Evo sit now, do you think? Because, look, I'm totally not aware of everything, and, I'm coming at this from a very ignorant standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember a period, probably about 5 to 10 years ago, where Evo was just like a big thing. You'd hear about it, and, it was when Street Fighter was really sort of back in consoles again. And it feels like it's kind of died off again. Is that
it's weird,
the
isn't
case,
it? Yeah,
or?
it feels like obviously fighting games have had a big resurgence. I think sort of around sort of Street Fighter 4. And again, this is talking from a position of relative ignorance, but here goes. But yeah, and it felt like a lot more people were getting into it. I imagine some of that has stuck, but yeah, it's not as part of the general conversation as it felt like it was.
No, and I would say that if you're listening to this and thinking we're attacking that scene, we're certainly not. And I'm certainly not saying that it's dead. What I am saying is that there was at one point where it was way more of an event in the mainstream than it has been for the past 4 to 5 years. And it seems like a strange time to do that.
Well,
to be fair, because obviously Evo's in a weird place also because obviously it didn't take place last year initially because of COVID, and then because it turned out the CEO was a fucking creep.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I've heard from this is there's been bad things that have come out of this. There's been things like that have there's been rumours and allegations and all that kind of stuff. And this is why I find it weird that Sony are getting involved with this, because why would you want to manage all of that? It's
there's that, isn't there?
Well,
there's
I assume they're not taking
Evo
on
is obviously. If you hear Evo and you link it to those, everything that went down, then why would a gaming powerhouse like Sony put their name to it? You know what I mean?
But then equally, is it one of those situations where the only way to get the stink off is to hang under new management sign out front?
Very true. But then wouldn't you rename it? Rename it?
I don't know. I think it might be too iconic a name, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably right. Yeah.
Do you want to hear the statement? This is from Sony, what they got to say. They said, fighting games have been a vital part of PlayStation's legacy and our community since the very beginning, and we've been thrilled to partner with Evo over the years. This joint acquisition with RTS marks a new chapter of collaboration with Evo's co-founders, Tom and Tony Cannon, and their passionate community of fighting game fans. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, there is a significant community there who will see this as a very clear statement of intent.
Yes.
And I've seen people saying that actually, do you know what, the Series S being the price that it is would be amazing as a little fighting game box that, you can happily take to tournaments yourself. But yeah, if it looks like Sony are going to be...
No, you've got to get yourself a bigger boat.
No, they've said that the games at this are still going to be cross-platform, so there will still be stuff like Killer Instinct will be there, and all the other stuff which is... even Microsoft stuff and Smash Brothers and things. So yeah,
I was going to say that the one conversation on Evo I've never had any appetite for is the fucking which Smash Brothers games are allowed and who's upset about it and what.
I love that. I love that drama. It's the best.
I still insist that as an absolute novice, and I understand I am not the target audience for Evo. I still get a lot out of watching Smash Brothers because it's like, do you know what? When someone lands a good hit because the other character goes fucking flying and there's a big explosion. So it's easy for someone like me to read
because how angry they get. Have you seen the Smash Brothers Rage compilations? They're brilliant because that those GameCube controllers are hard to get as well now, and they smash them up. It's so funny, especially the ones that do using dirty tactics. I think it's Donkey Kong. There's one famous one where Donkey Kong just keeps grabbing hold of the other character, jumping off the side of the thing and throwing them down. That's what cracks me up about Smash Brothers as a competitive thing, because they put we're going to make this game competitive. It's going to be in the big, competitive scene or whatever. Not allowed to use that character, that character, this stage,
no items,
this stage, this stage.
Yeah,
these rules are out. You can't use items. Like it's so funny. So many rules. But okay, whatever. I mean, I'm not part of that scene. I'm not judging it. I just think it's a strange thing to acquire from Sony, to be honest with you. There must be money in it.
Well, there's been, they did that. They've also bought Crunchyroll recently. It's strange because the stuff that they're buying are things which are like not, I don't know, they're just sort of things you think, why? What's the logic there? But they must have something.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I mean, I know it's all separate budgets and different parts of Sony, but they're buying all that stuff and then like dropping Japan Studio. It's it's a weird message at the very least, but I suppose we're the only people that give a shit. You know what I mean? It's not like the wider audience are going to care. But okay.
Okay, there's been dashboard changes for which is replacing Xbox Live with Xbox Network. So this was spotted by Tom Warren at The Verge, and so apparently what they've done is they've removed like references to Xbox Live from the dashboard. I think this is in the beta, it's not in the main one. And it's been replaced with the Xbox Network. But then also the other smoking gun for this is that Major Nelson has changed his YouTube name. He is no longer Xbox Live's Major Nelson, he is just Xbox's Major Nelson as well.
Oh, what?
So
fucking hell.
There's a theory here that they're moving away from like the live branding, and that it's always been that speculation that they're going to phase out like Xbox Live Gold, and that'll be gone.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
And it'll just be like the Game Pass sub instead. I mean, if you think about it though, how great would it be if they got rid of that? They just made multiplayer free, and then the subscription offer is just Game Pass. I mean, that'd be brilliant if they did that. I think it would go down very well.
I don't think they'll do it. Right, here's what I think they're doing. Xbox Live is the has always been the service associated with the consoles, right? Clearly, they're spanning across console and PC at the moment, so they're probably thinking a rebrand would do better for PC audiences. Let's call it you're joining the PlayStation Network. The Xbox Network. Yeah. Sorry, the Xbox Network. I think Xbox Live is too tied to consoles, and to show that it's actually cross-platform, it's a network for. I can't see them dropping that sub. I can't see them doing it.
It's weird because the live branding is something which goes back quite a long way actually, because Microsoft tried to do that. With all their stuff, there was like Windows Live as well. Like that was one of the things. There was like Office Live, there was Messenger Live. Everything they were trying to brand that way, and then all of those other ones have fallen by the wayside. They're all gone now, and Xbox Live I think is the only one that's left. So it may just be that it's part of that rebranding. But
I think it's a rebranding to make it more palatable for PC gamers. Mm-hmm. Genuinely, I think that's what it is. I don't think they're going to drop online. I don't think they're going to make online play free.
But the other thing
what if they did though? That would be pretty good.
It would, yeah.
Right?
I mean, the other thing that Tom Warren has said is he says that he said he didn't know whether it was going away, but apparently he says that the recent price backlash was what he called certainly like a wake up call internally internally at Microsoft. They were
but what a weird thing to do. Right, everyone, we're going to raise the price of playing online. Well, we don't want that. Okay, we'll make it free instead. Yeah. It's just erratic behaviour. There you go. Go on.
Okay, but there's also going to be an Xbox Indie Games event, which is going to showcase about 100 titles on March the 26th. This is at 4 p.m. GMT, and they're going to be showing a lot of stuff. I mean, we've got there's like Second Extinction, The Ascent, The Wild at Heart, Void Train, and lots of other stuff. And
that's cool. I mean, it's cool, but I want to see what Microsoft are up to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair. Like indie games is exciting. Let's see. But we've always got indie games in our Game of the Year shows, so we know we love them. But I'm itching to see what Microsoft's next first party showing is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you be more interested, David, if you knew that this event is going to be hosted by community favourite Twitch streamers who are going to conduct interviews with developers, take fan questions, and even drop some game codes? Would that
Absolutely, they're not doing that, are they? They're not doing that. They'd be mad.
I know
they
would be, but they actually are, Dave.
Oh my god! Right, okay. When is it? You said 28.
4 p.m. 4 p.m. Yeah.
4 p.m. UK time.
Yeah.
What's the 28th? What is the 26th?
26th, Friday.
26th. Yeah.
Oh, 26th on a Friday. Okay.
Monster Hunter Day, mate.
I mean, I would put that time.
Afternoon off.
That would be a good idea.
I'll get the mobile software update crew over for another party. We'll all sit and watch that.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do. How long's the show going to be? Did they say 100 games?
100 games, man.
There's no indication of how long it's going to be, but I mean that
too
probably take a
long,
while.
baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I mentioned last week I'm very excited about the Ascent. So I am very keen. Exo 1
the problem is
great
you're going to have to sit through 99 other games that you've got. Yeah.
Okay, final story is that the Australian Classification Board have said that Disco Elysium, the final cut, is too offensive to go on sale. So yeah, it's because they're refusing to classify it. So
it's been a while since we've had one of these, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to know why? It says the game has
please.
refused classification because it depicts or expresses or otherwise deals with matters of sex, drug misuse or addiction, crime, cruelty, violence or revolting or abhorrent phenomena in such a way that they offend against the standards of morality, decency and propriety, generally accepted by reasonable adults to the extent that they should not be classified. Yeah, so
I mean, that's copied and pasted, isn't it? That's not... I mean, I think I know what the bit of the game that has made that's
so do
fallen to this
I.
decision.
What are you thinking?
Is it a spoiler?
We talk around it. Is it this thing that James did?
Oh, it can't be.
Well, I don't know because I've never been told.
Well, you never
but
found out what he did.
No, I don't think so.
I can say this. I can say this.
No, don't. No, don't. Not on here. Like, we can talk about it, but it's...
Oh, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Well, because the thing is, so, okay, it's there's a decision you can make, and there's one option that to most people will seem horrific, but there is an argument for it. And that's probably where it, where the classification thing really comes in, because it's not like it's a, again, the thing that most people would consider absolutely abhorrent is not condemned. And it is in fact almost portrayed as well, actually, there's a good reason to do this. And I think it's done interestingly enough.
I know that the Australian Regulatory Board is notoriously strict with stuff, right? But I find it fascinating for a game like this where... So the way I played it and the way things panned out, like, it didn't glamorise any of this stuff.
No.
Like, it really exposed it for everything that you've mentioned in that quote there, James.
Yeah.
It really exposed it for the horrifying, reality that could possibly be.
It doesn't glamorise it at all.
But the problem is you can play it the other way where it sort of glorifies all that. So
I don't know.
What I mean?
Does it? I don't.
The other thing is the game. It's been released already on PC. Like, you can play it in Australia. Like, it's been released in Australia on PC. This is just the console version. It's just strange that well, I guess because they're not classified, are they, in the same way? So yeah.
I suppose the risk is that there are a lot of Switches out there that kids have, and I mean,
this isn't even because the Switch version doesn't even have a date yet, does it? It's just like soon.
It's later in the year.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's just PS4,
so,
isn't it?
Who knows? But yeah, it's very curious that the original didn't. I mean, maybe it's just if it's just a PC game, maybe they don't pay as much attention. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's going to be a boxed console game. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I think, as you say, it's a game that if you could write a bullet point list of a bunch of stuff that's in Disco Elysium, and you could make it sound like the most grim, horrific, cynical game ever, but it's not.
I would say, at no point while playing that game was I thinking, "Oh, this is edgy." Not at one point, genuinely.
Yeah,
there was no point throughout my playthrough that I thought, "Fuck, this is controversial." Like, there's stuff in the South Park games where you go, "Oh my god, that's a bit like, oh."
Well, yeah, because in Disco Elysium, it's never done to shock, and B, it feels earned in pretty much all.
Oh, it's totally embedded in the world that they've created.
Yeah.
So there is some horrific stuff in there, but it never feels out of context or play for laughs.
And it's never trying to be like, look at isn't this gross? Like it's everything's treated with the appropriate weight, I think. I think some of
the drug use in it is a bit like light-hearted. You know what I mean?
Do you think? I don't know. I mean, I never, because obviously, being me, I tried to play it as a straight edger, but then it even sort of, and that still paints a very grim picture of trying to go cold turkey after basically being a drug addict.
I think if you're listening to this podcast, and I'm sorry we've had to speak so candidly around it, we're just very aware that a lot of people haven't played this.
Well, exactly, and a lot of people might very soon. So
yeah. So what you can take away from this conversation is you should play Disco Elysium.
Yes, 100%,
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a good game.
Yeah, like ultimately, it's a fucking interesting game, and it's a shame if whether it's just that whoever works for the ratings board has, as I say, just seen like a compressed version of some of the events in it and sort of maybe not got the full context. Maybe that wouldn't make any difference. I don't know. But yeah, this is a real shame. I mean, let's face it, people are going to find ways to get hold of the game, but
yes, they
shouldn't have to.
Yeah, just change the region, isn't it? You'll be able to download it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of the news.
Blimey.
I'll start what you've been playing this week, because I haven't for a while. And I'll start with an apology, really. I've been thinking about this for a while, actually, right? Because I don't know if it's lockdown or whatever, and I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I feel like I'm being very selfish with my gaming at the moment. Like, I literally every night I'm playing Rocket League, Spider-Man. I was saying to you guys the other way, I'm not even enjoying Spider-Man. Like, what I do is I turn that game on. There's icons everywhere around the map. I've already played through it, last year. And I just go into zombie mode where I'm just looking at the screen. Like, all the combat's piss easy. Everything I'm doing is piss easy. A lot of the times it's like, I don't even enjoy it. I did all of the, the environmental, the bio labs on the rooftops, and then you do something based around the environment.
Chase some dust clouds.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's awful. Those side missions are terrible. And there's a couple of good ones, but like the one where you're swinging, where there's like radiation above and below you, so you've got to keep with it. Awful mission that is. Yeah, I'm just sitting there, eyes glazed over, with the pad in my hand, just doing it. Like and I think as you say, it must be a comfort thing.
That sounds exactly the same as my experience that I had with Crackdown 3. Where I played it exactly the same. It was like, I'm not even really enjoying this. I don't know why I'm playing it, but I just am. And it just, it was very strange.
And in the week, I was kind of like, man, we got the podcast on Monday. What the fuck am I going to talk about? Do you know what I mean? So again, I haven't played anything new to report on. And there's a few people have sort of said, look, why are you not talking about, was it Valheim?
Valheim,
yeah. Valheim, the PC game, but it's just it's a PC game, so I don't really play those games, and B, it's definitely not the sort of game that I enjoy playing. So, and I just kind of think, oh man, I need to sort this out. I need to start playing games for the show again, because it's been 3 months now where I haven't. I've just played what I wanted for the week, and that's not good enough.
Why don't you play some of those? Like, there's all those PS4 games that like came at the end of the generation that you've got. Like, as the PlayStation
do you
Collection
know what?
stuff.
I was thinking about booting up, like buying Ghost of Tsushima.
It's free.
But that's
you can play it for free.
It's not free.
It is. Isn't that part of the collection?
No.
Oh, it's not.
No. £55 they want for that on the PSN store.
I can lend you my copy if you want. If you really want to play.
Yeah, let me.
So you may as well have mine.
Yeah, I'll play that as something new to talk about in it. Although we've got It Takes Two that comes out on Friday, and I'm definitely playing through that. I'm looking forward to that game.
What I will say, James, if one of us lends our copy of Ghost of Tsushima to Dave, that would be a shame, because it would be really cool to do some of the multiplayer stuff together.
That's true. Yeah,
because it was
and
actually
also, I think
good.
David will hate it as well. I don't think he'll like it.
Maybe.
Why's that?
I just don't think you'll like it.
It's a bit puzzly in place. It's basically like sort of Destiny raid type mechanics. I thought it was really interesting.
No, James is talking about the actual game, right?
Oh, yeah, I see. Sorry.
I don't think you'll like the main game.
Here's the thing with James. I don't know if you've noticed, but if he really likes the game, he assumes I'm going to hate it for some reason. I've never understood that about him.
No,
but,
it's not. It's not that.
Don't play that game.
No, it's because the thing is we've talked about this before, but I think the environment, the setting, I don't think you'll dig it in any way, and I don't think
James,
you'll enjoy it.
I forgot James thinks I'm a racist against Eastern culture.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that. It's just that I know that you're not terribly interested in a lot of that stuff, so it's like that's why I don't think you'll get much from it. Like, really.
Okay. All right. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I think you're wrong. Okay, but anyway, the main game I've been playing this week, other than the sort of usual Rocket League, Spider-Man stuff, and I mentioned it last week as well, is Sackboy's Big Adventure. And the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because, my word, that game takes a quality leap after the second world. So you do the first two worlds or whatever, you get to the third world, which is, James, you'll know, it's all the underwater stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not actually underwater. They're just, the levels are just underwater themed, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And you get a grapple hook, and all of that stuff is brilliant. There's a level where you're like just on this little submarine as it's going around. But obviously it's not a submarine, it's just a platform or whatever, and that's fantastic. And then you move on to the space themed levels in the fourth world, and I was like, what the fuck, man? This is like the quality. The leap in quality over those last two worlds that I've played has been utterly fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like, genuinely enjoyed it. And I got to the end of World 3, and it needed 90 of those Dream Orbs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that's too many. That's too many. Like, because it's not like in Mario games where you've got to go back to one or two levels and get a couple of extra stars to top you up. This is like, I was out by 20 Dream Orbs. But then I went on the Knitted Night Trials, and so the Knitted Night Trials, Sean, are like I was going to say, they're like, in Astro Bot. Well, no, of course you don't. They're just little speedrun things. They're little. They're like the limbo levels in Mario Galaxy, right? What they call? What's the official name for them, James?
The void levels, yeah.
The void levels, yeah. So the void levels in Galaxy, right? They're just very condensed speedrunning sections, not of existing games. They're like bespoke for this game mode, and you get, like, if you do it in a certain amount of time, you get a bronze medal and one of these Dream Orbs. If you do it in silver, an extra Dream Orb, and you can get up to 3 Dream Orbs per level. And cool, so I did a bunch of them, and then I had more than enough to get through to the next world. And those things are great as well. And, man, when it adds that spacesuit to you, James, and you can do that, like, hover jump and the shooting and stuff, I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, we're all, honestly, all three of us, me, Harry and Charlie, are just well into Sackboy at the moment. We're loving it.
And how does that work? Because I assume Charlie can't really play it.
Yeah, nor can Harry. He just sits there and watches. They both just watch.
Yeah, okay.
And they're just happy watching it. So yeah, although, I've mentioned on the show before that Charlie's evil, and if you fall off the side of the stage in there, you can hear Sackboy screaming out of the speaker in the control in your hands. Right? He goes, "Wow!" like from the speaker. And Charlie just goes, "Yeah, chuck him off again." And I'm not, no, you're not supposed to do that. He's like, chuck him off again. But yeah, no, I'm really, honestly, totally impressed with that, because I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm enjoying this, but it's not hitting me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not, like, loving it. But then, yeah, the last 2 worlds that I've played of that have been utterly fantastic. What is that, 6 worlds or 7?
I can't remember, but I do remember that it's a bit like Mario 3D World, where you think that you finished it, but then it unlocks like a whole bunch of more stuff that's more difficult.
Okay.
And is
that stuff good though?
Well, that was the point at which I started to sour on it a bit, because it was becoming a bit like too difficult, if you know what I mean.
We got too half, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy that so much.
But the Knitted Night Trials or whatever, or the speedrun bits, they feel like just the right level of difficulty. Because they are really tricky, but they just seem so doable at the same time, that I'm sitting there and I've retried loads of them about 8 or 9 times, just going, I'm going to get this gold. I'm going to get it. Like, there's no way I'm giving this up. and I'm thinking that might be a stream in the near future, actually, to just try and get a bunch of golds on them, because it's just a really nice game to play. I think it'll make for a good stream, but
it's definitely good.
Yeah, really enjoying it. But that's been about it. Sorry, the Rocket League stuff has sort of taken over, and I'm really concerned that the new season starts next week, and we're all itching to sort of like fully jump on board with that. But also, It Takes Two out at the end of the week. What's the deal with that, James? You're playing that with Matt?
Yes, I'll be playing that with him when it comes out.
Is he going to be on it Is he going to be on it on Friday?
No, because I think he's got other things that he needs to deal with. So, yeah.
Oh, mate. How long do you give it? That's an awkward conversation, isn't it?
Well, no, I think I'm hoping the week after, if all being well, because I'm hoping to finish Hitman 3 this week anyway, and then it'll be nice that I can get into that the week after. But
I was going to say, is this a stream with you and Matt, or is this just?
Yeah, I think we were planning to stream it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
wicked.
How about you, Sean? Are you going to play
it? I don't know. I don't know anyone else who's keen and not already found someone to play it with, so I don't know.
Oh man, everyone's paired up.
You have to play with I mean, if you're listening to this and you are one of my friends, there's at least 3 of you. Give us a shout.
If you're not one of his friends, just send him a tweet saying, "I'll play it with you, Sean."
Yeah, I love it when people do that.
I'd love that.
Sean's DMs are open.
Yeah, and I definitely did that on purpose, and sometimes I'm like, why did I do that?
What do you mean? Why did you open your DMs?
Yeah.
Because why not?
Because you get people in them, don't you? Turning up.
Not slide into Sean's DMs, right? Do not do that, apparently.
Yeah. Although I was just reminding me, I still owe Luke Summerhays a DM. Apologies, Luke. By the time this goes up, I will have DM'd you, I promise.
You've been exposed as an arsehole tonight. Absolute arsehole.
I just don't give a fuck about the fans, mate.
What's the arsehole been playing? That's what we all want to know.
A few things. Mostly little ones. So I've been playing Signs of the Sojourner, which has just come out on Switch. I think it was out on PC last year, maybe the year before. It's another one of those. It was in the itch, racial justice bundle. And I'd streamed a bit of it, and I was like, this seemed really cool, but apparently there's a Switch version on the horizon. So I decided to wait. So I did, and now it's out, and I'm playing it. It's a card game, but James.
It's funny, I was just looking it up and I looked at the screenshot, there's cards and on the bottom of the screen. I'm out.
No, right. If you were ever going to like a card game,
he's not ever going to like a card game. That's the problem.
No, very unlikely.
If this would be, I think this might be the one. Right. So the setup is you are. It's in this sort of post-apocalyptic world, I think, but it's all sort of relatively cheery. It's like, lots of bright colours and stuff. It's not like a grim setting, but it's like there's all these sort of towns in this wasteland, and they all trade with each other, and you're sort of like basically driving around with this caravan of traders, going to different towns, talking to people, getting stuff to then bring back to your hometown and sell in your shop. Like, you're supposed to be running this shop and restocking it and stuff, right? But that's all kind of... That's just all sort of set dressing, really. The main bulk of it is that when you're having these conversations with people that you meet on the road, or, people back home, or people who are travelling, on the caravan with you, the conversations take place via this card game, where so you have a deck of cards and you draw a hand, and then you take it in turns, you and this, whoever the character is that you're talking to place a card in this like series, going left to right across the screen, and you like each card has 2 symbols on it, left one and a right one. And there's all these different symbol types, and they each sort of denote like different styles of conversation. So like, there's like an orange circle means like being empathetic, or a green triangle means being like logical and rational, or whatever. And everyone you talk to has like predominant symbols, right? So if they're mainly rational and empathetic, they'll mainly have the circles and the triangles. And you start out like with basically circles and triangles, right? And the people you talk to, like your best mate from your hometown, is all circles and triangles as well, because you get on. You've known each other for years, and you have very similar thought processes and conversational styles. And basically, as you have these conversations, it's all about just getting these symbols to match up, right? And there's a lot to it, but basically the general gist is if you've got the same symbols as another character, you're going to get on. Like, it's going to be easier. And then you go out on the road, and then suddenly you meet people who've got other symbols that you've not come across before, and you just can't really deal with them. And you just like fall out straight away.
Like when me and you first met, James. The different symbols above my head.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, still are.
Well, this is it, right? Because it's in a way, like it takes a lot of sort of roguelite sort of deck building tropes, but in other ways it sort of pushes against them, because it makes the point early on that it's just like you're not going to get on with everyone. You're not going to have the tools to get on with some people. Whereas, in any other, game like this, it's like, well, you've got to find a way to win every fight, or else you lose, and that's the end of the game. Whereas this, it's like, some people you're just not going to get on with. That's it. But yeah, like, so you meet people with these different symbols, different conversational styles, and then even if the conversation goes badly, every person you talk to, you can take a card from their deck and it replaces. You choose like which card in your deck it overwrites effectively. And it's like, right, yeah, so every interaction you have with people, but good or bad, you take a piece of them with you, and it's like sticks with you in some way or another. And then eventually, you do your first tour with the caravan, and then you come back home, and it's like, hey, it's my best mate again. And suddenly they're not so easy to talk to anymore, because you've been out on the road and it's changed you a bit, and suddenly you haven't quite got the cards that you need to always get on with them.
You slightly adapted your accent, yeah? Yeah, and your mate points that out and you're self-conscious about it. I get you.
But yeah, there's loads of little moments like that where you're like, oh, this is a mechanical problem for me to figure out. And then you're like, oh yeah, and that is just another interesting way in which the sort of metaphor works in terms of these sort of interpersonal relationships you're having with people. And yeah, I really love it.
They better change though, right?
What do you mean? Sorry.
It's not a character about a game that just like where you're like, you're slightly different now. So what can I change to make us get along? No, that can't be the message.
Oh, you mean what do they sort of meet you halfway? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, surely.
I don't know. So I'm only a couple of hours in. So I don't know how that works.
It is like me and you, James. James, listen, you're going to have to change the way you think, because I ain't.
I'm not fucking budging, mate.
See, this does all sound really interesting, but then you also said the sentence roguelike deck builder, and then
I believe you said roguelite. Yeah,
light. It does play on, like I say, it does sort of use some of those tropes, but yeah, it's not really a roguelite. There is like a start and an end. I think it's designed to be replayed, but not in there's no like insta fail states or anything.
So where do the cards come into it then?
How do you mean?
Well, if it's a deck building game, what?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So when you have the conversations, it's each bit of the conversation is you play a card and they play a card and you play one, and you're trying to create a string of matching symbols, basically.
So then when you're laying down the card, the conversation's going on.
The way it works is basically
it's not like if you lay the wrong card, it's like Guitar Hero where you play a bum note or whatever.
Someone's just talking,
then
you just go,
political situation. It's like, no, fucking don't bring that up.
So basically, the way it works. For each sort of like line of dialogue, so if you create a string of matching symbols, then you get a good bit of dialogue. If the chain gets fucked up somehow, you get a bad one, and then if you accrue like too many of one or the other, then that's like the overall outcome of the conversation was positive or negative.
I'm quite curious to see like the bad conversation, like how they deal with that.
It's weird like, because you sort of you feel really
more subtle than just going, your shoes look shit.
Well, it never so it never says like what you say. You only ever see like their dialogue.
Oh,
and it's a shame because obviously there's some people like you don't give a fuck if you upset them particularly, but then as I say, when it's someone you actually really like and they're just sort of saying something helpful and you haven't got the right cards to deal with them, and then their response is just like, all right, I was just trying to help. Like what and you feel awful. But yeah, I love it. So far, as I say,
can we do a podcast like this, James? When me and you just lay down, I got the Queen of Spades, I've got the Two of Spades. Fuck off! Can we do that from now on?
Definitely. I think
every time we're having a massive row, we just get the deck of cards out, just sort of whack them on the table.
3 of clubs I've got there.
You're a prick. Why did you have a completely different card? No, I had the 3 of clubs as well, but I just think you're a prick.
But yeah,
it's an interesting concept. It's a wild concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it's proper good. And as I say, there's other mechanical stuff that you can get into, but it wouldn't be exciting to explain on a podcast. But the central hook of it and that metaphor is, card game as, navigating difficult conversations with people is, I just think it's really beautifully done. It looks gorgeous. Music's really nice.
You might have already said, but what are you playing on?
Switch, which is a very nice place to play it, to be fair. And as I say, like if you've already got it in the BLM itch bundle, like definitely try it.
And it's called
Signs of the Sojourner.
Okay. Cool. Sounds interesting.
Sojourner.
It's very good. Yeah. I've also been playing Monster Truck Championship.
He's banging to his monster truck.
Well, this is the thing, right? So I talked about Monster Jam Steel Titans 2, and then literally I think it was the day the show went up, we got a press release from the PR saying Monster Truck Championship is now out on PS5 and the Series S and X. So this has been out since last year. And so it's now had its next gen upgrade. And I had.
In what ways was it upgraded? What?
Honestly, I don't know because I never played it previously. All I can say is, Series S, it's like solid 60 frames and everything, and looks really nice.
Okay.
And then so I was like, oh shit! So like, what's this monster truck game? And then in looking into it, broadly regarded as a better racing game than Monster Jam Steel Titans 2. It's definitely it definitely takes things a bit more seriously. Like obviously monster trucks are sort of inherently a bit silly, but it's not got any of the the really silly stuff from Monster Jam. It hasn't got the there's like a truck that looks like a dog, but there's none of the silly fantasy stuff or what have you. But it the physics are a lot more reliable in it, right? It's definitely a game that you could take a fair bit more seriously. And with Monster Jam, the stunt events and stuff, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And there was some skill involved, but there's you pretty much just fling the truck around and see what happens. Whereas this is when you do a stunt event, you've got to be very deliberate in your run. You have to sort of not necessarily plan it out, but you can't just think, oh, I'll just fucking drive at the ramps, it'll be all right, won't it? It's you've got to think about how you're going to chain your combos together and stuff. And it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know. As I say, it is sort of missing some of that silliness, and it's definitely got the budget where Monster Jam 2 didn't. It looks a lot nicer. Production values in general are a lot better. No spelling mistakes in the menus, as far as I can see. But
9 out of 10 straight away for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's definitely just a much more robust racing game. And Isaac's loving it. The only thing is, and this is not a legitimate criticism. This is just because I'm playing it with a 3-year-old. So with Monster Jam, he was just constantly like, oh, I want you to be the lobster one now. Oh, I want you to be the dog one. I want you to be the zombie one, whatever. Whereas this is you basically have your truck that you slowly upgrade over time and buy new stuff for, and it's in terms of visual stuff, there's quite a long road towards getting some of the sort of slightly weirder stuff.
What is he I want the hard suspension now.
This is it. He's no interest in that stuff.
Good.
And it is I mean, with Monster Jam, there was all different trucks that supposedly had different stats and characteristics. I didn't really feel any difference there, and whereas this is just like you upgrade your truck as you go. There's like you can mess with the tuning and stuff. Which I mean, have any of you ever done that in a game?
Nope.
In a driving game?
I mean, with Forza, you can just buy them, can't you?
Yeah, but like in terms of like tweaking the the suspension height and stuff like that.
I haven't done anything like that, but on Forza Horizon, there's been occasions where it's like you just look at other people's tweaks and they go, "This makes it go faster." Well, I'll get that one then. Just download it. And I think they get points for that as well. It's a pretty cool aspects of that game.
Mm.
If you create a paint job that gets downloaded loads, you get like in-game currency for
it. That's right. Yeah.
And it's the same with like tuning your cars and stuff.
Cool.
So I like that stuff.
But the main hook of this, like the races are good. They're really good fun. But the main hook of it for me has been the stunt events, because it feels more like a skate or a Tony Hawk's, in that you can't just fuck about. You've got to be quite deliberate with what you're trying to do, and you've got to think about like how you're going to chain stuff together and keep things going without. I mean, it does sort of get quite broken. Like I managed to do one run on a stunt event where everyone else was getting sort of about 200,000 points, and I came out with 1.5 million.
You landed on all four wheels and got out and said, what were you worried about? He said, no professionals, mate. He said, no, I'm not. He said, well, you should be. Said, don't worry about that. I made shitloads out of podcasting. Sorry, Sean. That was the first one of the podcast, I think.
But yeah, really good. I mean, I think it is like full price, whereas Monster Jam was like 20 quid. This is a sort of 40 odd, I think. And obviously, like it's just been interesting because Monster Truck games seem to sit in this awkward place where it's like they're not getting the budget of a Forza or whatever. Like they seem to be relatively niche, but then I don't know. Like, are there people who really love Monster Truck games to the point that they're like, well, any normal driving game is just not going to do it for me?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Like, it's the sort of game where you'd love to know how well it's doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because
you'll never know.
The niche is big enough.
I'm sure they do really well. It's I don't know, just strikes me as something that I think a lot of people would be into.
And it's something I've only got into because Isaac fucking loves trucks and cars and stuff.
It is funny the stuff you play because the kid likes it.
Yeah. But you end up legitimately enjoying it. It's not like I'm sitting there being like, fucking hell, he wants the fucking monster. Like, it's good. Really good.
True.
Right, last one. I've been playing Dorfromantik. That's Dorfromantik. I don't know what the title means. Obviously, it's not in English. But this is. I mean, you'll both fucking switch off when I say this.
Well, is it a card game, Sean?
It's not a card game, but it's a.
Is it a roguelite or roguelike?
It's neither.
Okay.
But it is a bit like a board game.
See you later.
Have you both played Carcassonne? I can't remember. Back in the early days of Xbox Live. Have you not?
No.
For fuck's sake. Anyway. Well,
I like
never
that
mind.
Ticket to Ride. That was good. I played that for a bit.
Ticket to Ride is good.
See, I've got nothing against puzzle. Like, I've got nothing against strategy games. I really like Civilization, that kind of thing. How is this?
This is a...
What weird way to end that sentence. Sorry. How is this, Sean?
So it's like...
Can we change the name of this part of the show to How Is This? I mean, it's the episode title.
Now it's time for How Is This?
But next portion of the show is How Is This, Matt? How was those?
And do you have to, every time someone says like, right, I've been playing Monster Truck Championship, and someone else will go, and how was it? How is this? How is it? Right, so it's like a hex-based like grid, right? And there's tiles with trees or fields or houses or whatever on them, lakes, rivers, train tracks. I forgot what a train track was called then. So it starts off, there's like a little bit of the landscape, and then you've got like a big pile of these like little land tiles that you place one by one. And the idea is you're trying to match up like trees with other trees, fields with other fields, rivers with other rivers, whatever. And you get points as you place them. If you try and place things in a way that's sort of sympathetic with the surroundings, you start like getting more and more points for that. And then occasionally you'll get a tile that will have a bit of forest on it, and it'll have a little icon above it with a picture of a tree, and it'll say like 30 or whatever on it, which basically means connect this bit of forest with another 30 bits of forest, right? And that's that's basically, they call that a quest. So, and then you might get one that's like some houses, and it's like connects these with 10 other houses or whatever. And that, like, on one level, that's basically it. You keep placing tiles, and you just try and figure out ways to sort of keep linking, like, similar things together. Eventually you get a quest, and then you're like, right, okay, so now I have to actually sort of build like a little town or a forest or, a farm or whatever. And sort of as it goes on, you start spreading out more and more. You complete more quests. It gives you like more tiles in your stack, so you can play for longer. And then you start discovering like sort of different like rare tiles, like weird buildings and stuff. And like that's kind of it. But if it was up to me, this game would be like on the NHS, because it's fucking like it's brain medicine. Sorry?
It's gorgeous.
It is. It's
look at the screenshots. It's got a real distinct style,
and it's just everything great about the aesthetics and just how it feels to play. It feels like legitimately therapeutic. It's just lovely, and it shuts my brain up for half an hour. It's wonderful. I gather it's still technically early access, so I think it's out on Friday, and I think it's an early access release. But I mean, there's plenty to do in it. Like there was a demo a while back, and it was very much like, right, here's what you do, off you go, and then you'd play it for sort of 10 minutes, and then it ends, and you sort of like, is that like that was cool, but is that it? But then the full game, there's like as you play on, there's like it sort of moves on to like different biomes and stuff, and as I say, there's all these sort of rare tiles to unlock, and like challenges to tick off and stuff. I mean, so far that's been plenty for me. But I mean, if this is only early access and they're still planning on adding more stuff, then brilliant. Are
you suggesting, Sean?
Yes,
there should be an NHS branded Game Pass service,
yes,
with selected games. Like, what would be on it? What would be
this
on it?
And Doom 2018.
Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing would be on there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
What Crackdown 3 and Spider-Man? We've established that.
Definitely those.
Yeah, where it's like, look, if you just want to feel nothing for 8 hours, put one of these.
They'll launch. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of all the games that could be on this. What's the other chill out games? What was that one on the PS4 where there was a little worm that you just made go around?
Little worm? Nobby Boy?
No, not Nobby Boy. That was no, it was like that though. It was the same ilk, and it was 2D, and you had a little snake, and then you went round circles and stuff. Oh, come on, you'll know what it is.
I've no idea what this is.
Adam,
are you
Capone
thinking of the mobile phone game?
Nuts.
Like the Nokia mobile phone game? Right,
Snake?
Okay.
No. But you controlled it in a similar way, but with the analog stick. That's going to do my nutting. And there's people screaming it at the podcast now.
Ho-Hokum.
That's the one, Ho-Hokum.
Yeah.
That's
I love
it.
that.
Yeah. That'd be on there.
Yep.
They'd accidentally released The Last of Us 2 on there, and then have to say, "Oh no, we pulled it. It was a mistake." not that one. Don't play that. Cool. That sounds pretty cool though.
It's wonderful. It's really nice. And I tell you what, Dave.
Why do you link it to a board game, Sean? Because looking at it, it doesn't. I don't. Where's the?
Is it because of the hex?
Because it's like a hex-based grid, and you're just placing tiles. Like you could do a physical board game version of this, pretty much, if you wanted to. I think.
Right.
And like I say, it reminds me a lot of Carcassonne, which is a similar thing, but obviously Carcassonne's like versus other people, whereas this is purely just for your own enjoyment and just enjoying, like, building this little landscape for yourself and getting points along the way. But this will be all over the ASMR scene, Dave. I guarantee it.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
So you're playing it on PC, are you?
Yeah, it's only on PC so far as I'm, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if it's Mac as well. Oh, sorry?
I thought it was on Switch as well.
Dorfromantik. This is in an early access, so they might have announced that it's coming to Switch, but it's not out there yet.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's Mac as well, but if it is, have a look.
Yeah, I might try some of that.
It's like saying, it doesn't have to be like, it's not necessarily something you're going to put 10 hours into. It's just like on your lunch break, half an hour. Just a bit of fucking peace, mate. That's all we want, innit?
It is, man. Right, okay. James, it's your turn. You've been playing some games. How is this? It works. It works.
Kind of works, yeah. I played 2 games, but then also I've just realised that I've made a terrible mistake with the news. Is there
going to be a rebuttal?
No. In that I forgot a news item. Do I bring it up now, or just forget about it?
What is it? No, what is it?
Well, it's just about the PS3 and Vita stores being shut down in July.
Oh shit! That's going to really piss Matt off because he sent you that.
He did, yeah. No, he sent me that. And he sent another one as well. He sent the other one. He sent was the Xbox One. And yeah.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, but okay. So, but what do you say to that? I'm happy that you skipped that. To be honest. Okay. The PS3. Is there anything shocking about that? There's not, is there?
Well, it's a shame, isn't it? That because one of the biggest problem with that is that there'll be a lot of games that will basically be lost, which is a shame.
They'll be on the internet. Someone will work it out.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be the answer, should it?
But it is the answer, Sean. And the cheaper
good answer. All the games are free on the internet.
You can steal them. No, you can't. The official quote is that you cannot do that. Okay?
No. Legally.
That was all comedy.
It's all a big joke.
Yep. Go on.
So I played 2 games. I played Raji and Ancient Epic, and I've been looking forward to playing it because I saw it in that Nintendo Indie Showcase, and it's that game that's by this indie developer called Nodding Head Games. And what it is it's kind of like, do you remember those like Assassin's Creed like 2D games, like the sort of the 2D
the
Assassin's
Chronicles?
Yeah. So imagine that, but also with parts that are kind of 3D as well. But it's that kind of visual style. You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's kind of like running, jumping, a bit of combat, that kind of thing. And that's what this is. And what it is the game focuses on Raji, who is like a circus performer whose brother is then kidnapped by demons. And then you have to like fight back against them. And all the demons come from like Hindu and Balinese like mythology. And so I'm not familiar at all with the history of any of this, so I was really intrigued by it. I thought this looks very interesting, and it's precisely the kind of game that I like. Like, as in, like, it's like platforming, exploration, bit of combat, that kind of thing. And it's fine. It's the usual thing where you play through and you unlock new abilities and weapons and stuff, and it does look amazing. Like, it looks really, really like lovely in places. I played it on the Switch, and the atmosphere of the whole thing is great. The music, maybe not so much because it gets like super repetitive in places, but I really, really love the narration as well, because it sort of tells this story, as you're going through, and the narration is generally like fantastic. But it's just that the gameplay is not as fun, is the problem, mostly because the platforming is really basic and feels really quite imprecise. And I'm not sure if that's because I played the Switch version or if it's that all versions are like that, because it feels very sluggish. Like the movement feels very sluggish. Like it's not like instant, as you're moving about. It reminds me, do you remember like the Prince of Persia games, how they were, like the character movement?
I never actually played one,
Have you not? The old ones?
No.
With those where it was
very...
Sorry, Sean.
I was going to say that they're very like animation priority, aren't they? There's like a real sort of rigidity to them.
Like the feeling of when you're playing that Aladdin platformer, where it was like the movement didn't really matter. It was just how the legs went. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, this is like
that's a no.
No, it's like with Prince of Persia, it was always like you're running in one direction, and then if you turn to like run the other, it's not instant. It has to go through all the animation frames to like turn around, and it takes some time. And this is kind of like that, but not as bad at all. But it's also quite irritating, like when you're jumping from place to place, and it's quite easy to like misjump, like because you can't judge distances very easily in it either, which is quite annoying. And also the combat is really tedious. It's really just sort of. I mean, you can like do strategies if you want to like take on these demons, but you end up. I mean, I ended up just button mashing most of the time because it wasn't because of the way the animation works. It didn't ever feel satisfying, like to defeat anything at all, which was kind of a shame. I mean, it's also. I mean, it's pretty short. I mean, I played it over the weekend. It's only like a couple of hours long, and it's worth it for the story stuff and the atmosphere, but because of the controls alone, I don't feel it's a great game. It's it's worth looking at, I think, but not amazing.
Does it get the themes and obviously this is a real unique sort of a subject matter, right?
Yeah.
So does it present that in a way of introducing you to that?
Definitely.
Or is it?
And that's the strength of the game. Like, it made me a lot more interested in some of the the mythology here and the backstory. I'm started reading up on aspects of it, which is definitely the best sort of presentation of that, I think.
Yeah,
but it's just the game is not so fun. is the problem? Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's worth looking. But the other game I played is Huntdown, which I know you've played as well, haven't you, Sean?
Yes.
Have you finished it?
I haven't. Which is a problem. I need to sort that out. It was one of those I sort of had some time off it and then went back, and then it was really hard. So I think I need to go back a bit and do some of the earlier levels again just to get used to it again. But yeah, go on.
So I mean, it feels kind of like RoboCop versus Terminator, doesn't it? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of 16-bit era gun, sort of run and gun, kind of thing.
I remember this game. Did it come out last year?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was in the sale recently, and I mean, this is the thing I always say about pretty much every game I ever say, which is that I love the general atmosphere in this game and the ambience because it's fantastic. Yeah. It's got that, the soundtrack's really good as well, and it's got that sort of griminess as well that it was from a lot of those 16-bit era games, which I think is great.
It's really sort of it is very haha, remember the 80s, but without. I don't know, not in an annoying way. It's sort of, it's got enough of its own ideas, and it's not just, have you seen Terminator? Here's a thing from it. There is a bit of that, but it's, I don't know, it stands on its own 2 feet as well, I think.
Yeah, we did a talk over to one of these trailers.
Did we?
I'm sure of it, yeah, I'm sure of it. I remember talking about that stuff, that it looked like it shouldn't work, but the trailer did. Yeah. I remember this.
But it's also there's really good sort of tactical options with the weapons that you choose. What's useful at certain points in the game, and it is tough, but it is reasonably fair. I think it's I very much
it's
enjoyed it.
As you say, it's sort of, there is a lot of run and gun stuff, but then there are sections where they're sort of real sort of pitched battles, aren't there? In sort of almost sort of feels arena based at time, where you're right, here's the available cover, here's where I can get, here's doorways I can hide in, lob grenades up there, dive in here, melee this guy. It feels really, I don't know, there's a real breadth to it. It's great. And
a sort of fluidity to the movement as well, which is the other thing, which is really nice. And it's just the animation is also great. It's even just taking cover, it looks really cool. The way it does that. But yeah, I mean, I finished it, but I've only finished it on sort of on easy. I've not played it on the harder difficulties yet. But
how long did it take?
I don't know. Not very long. I mean, it's only a couple of hours long, I think. I mean, this is the thing. Recently, I've just found myself gravitating towards things which are quite short, because I just want to play something, finish it, and then move on. And with this, there are loads of things that you can uncover in all the levels. You can pick up briefcases and stuff, but I haven't really felt the desire to go back and do that yet. But I might do at some point, because the gunplay is very good in this. And,
I was gutted because I remember, because we played this at Res years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
And I remember we both quite enjoyed it, and then when it sort of coming up to release date, and it was there is no online play, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake, because this would be great in co-op.
Absolutely.
But that's never going to happen.
But yeah, no, very good. It's I got, again, similar with Raji. I got this in the sale, it was really cheap, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go for this. But great.
Yeah, because I remember, because this came out, I can't remember, was it the same week? It was around the same time as Jet Lancer as well, and I was just fucking 2D action games are the fucking best. It was just a great time for them, but yeah, good game.
But that's all I played this week. Yeah, nothing else really.
Cool. Let's get on to the questions.
If you want to send us a question, first off, think of a funny name that involves a kitchen appliance, and
Absolutely.
then visit tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Thomas Adjustable Rolling Pin says, Dear TCGS, come on, Eileen. Something Dave said about video game rentals a couple of weeks ago got me thinking, why is there no facility to rent games digitally via the online stores of any of the three big consoles? It seems to be that it's a no-brainer. Should that be? It seems to me that it's a no-brainer and it would be easy to implement. Get a week's rental for a tenner or so. More people who wouldn't have bought the game, full game might try it out, and they could offer a 10% discount or something if you purchase within the rental time. I wonder if it's something that's been considered before but dismissed as not a profit maker. But I just wondered what your thoughts were. Would you rent games, or do you think it could work? I reckon I'd rent the odd game here and there.
Well, Game Pass is that. That's what Game Pass is.
That's essentially what Game Pass is, yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to say, that's essentially what Game Pass is. You're only renting those games, you're not owning them. You do get a discount if you want to buy them and add them to your library. I suppose, yeah, that is what that is. But
it's
I think,
different, isn't it? It's like obviously the games are on Game Pass for a lot longer than any sort of rental period. But yeah, it's.
Well, I don't know. Love Film, you could just keep them forever if you kept paying your monthly.
That's true.
Stuff does go off Game Pass as well. Like, it's not there forever.
That was a weird period, wasn't it? The Love Film period.
It was.
Oh, I've got a 5-disc package, and basically, if you remove everything from your wish list other than this game when it launches, then you'll definitely get that game. Like, it was all sort of like little tricks you could do.
Yeah, but it was always envelopes. Like, we recommend that you have at least 10 titles in your wish list at any one time. I know you recommend that because you don't want to send me the new game that's coming out. You don't want to send me the new Call of Duty because you've only bought 5 copies and they've got 3,000 people who want it. I mean, GameFly still exists, right? I don't think is it in the UK? I don't think it is.
What's that?
GameFly is a similar deal.
Isn't it? I mean, you've got Boomerang over here. Isn't that
that's
the one
right.
that's still going?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure this was spoken about during the Don Matrick era of the Xbox One, right?
Was it?
I could be wrong. It might have something to do with you could borrow a game off a mate.
Oh, but then you'd have to pay like a fee to.
Yeah, it was like
you
pay a small fee and it would transfer that license, and there was a limit on it for like 2 weeks.
Right.
And it would turn back. I remember all those conversations. It was like, what?
I mean, I know, like, we talk about the original Xbox One reveal, and a lot of it has sort of come true now, and you sort of think, oh, maybe it's just a bit early, and then you hear shit like that, and it's like, no, fuck off, Don.
Yeah, I think they want to stay away, especially, Xbox want to stay away from anything that sounds like Don Matrick came up with it. And that definitely sounds like Don Matrick came up with it. So I don't think we'll see that anytime soon. But you're right, James. I mean, that is essentially what Game Pass is. You're renting these games for as long as you're paying that subscription.
In terms of Sony and Nintendo, I assume, data probably exists that shows that it's not doing it. But then does it? Because no one's ever offered digital rentals before. Look,
Sony's never going to do this because Sony's, feather in their cap are single-player games that have ending.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, essentially, I did that with The Last of Us. The Last of Us 2, I paid £5 for that because I bought it, I played it during the course of a week, and then I sold it for £5 less than what I bought it for. And yeah, that's ridiculous. If you could do that, if you could rent it for like £5 to £10 and complete it in a week or whatever, then they're losing the revenue from the rest of that sale.
Yeah.
So
Nintendo would never do anything like this because
they'd see it as devaluing.
The
games, wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, they don't need to do that, do they? So I can't see it happening. But I think the Game Pass is essentially what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's the modern face of that, isn't it?
God, we sound like salesmen. Fucking what a bunch of...
Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Kokoroko. David, it's not that James's heart is not in the show anymore. I just think very few things genuinely impress him. On that note, here's my question. Which gaming feat has truly impressed each of you? I remember spending a frighteningly long time trying to figure out how the wall jump worked in Super Metroid. I couldn't bear to watch those smug alien rabbits squeak as they leapt from wall to wall, no bother. So I took my cartridge over to a friend's house, he loaded my save, and had Samus out of that pit in less than 10 seconds without ever having to use the second wall at all. I don't think I've ever been more impressed in my life, except maybe after watching Matt play the same game with analog controls.
Yeah.
Keep up the fantastic work.
Forget all that for a moment. Can we get James to sing Shania Twain? Please. Can we get James to belt out, "You don't impress me"? So, you're Brad Pitt. I'd love that.
Well, thank you, David. Yeah, go on.
I mean, we know he can sing. He's got the pipes for it.
Oh, God, yeah, we all heard the Mince Pie song.
Yeah, man.
Love it. Bring on some more mince pies. Do you remember when I went for a period of about a week of just singing that at you?
I do, yeah. I remember the messages and stuff. It was,
Bring on. Because we were playing games during that period, probably FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, every time I spoke to you, I was bring on some more mince pies.
It's a good song. It
is.
Yeah.
A lovely bit of a podcast.
Impressive game. I mean, every time I watch awesome games done quick.
I was going to say, yeah, games done quick is.
I watch a lot of
the obvious answer.
It's always impressive to me. The way like they're playing Sonic or something, and they go, and if you stand here and then press jump and then spin in the air and then jump on that life at the right time. There's a 2-frame window in which you can pull this off, and then they do it, and then you just see the character glitch to the end of the level, and then everyone claps behind them. It's
when they do, there's like skips where they're like, okay, so if I make this, it saves me 5 seconds, and if I fuck it up, it costs me 2 minutes.
Yeah, by the time you finish the sentence, he's already done it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that stuff will always be impressive to me. Honestly, if you think the idea of watching speedruns like that is shit, just give it a go and watch a couple of them, because they're usually like brilliant.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to have to do, because I'm struggling to think of anything that's really like impressed me or shocked me, and maybe I need to watch some of those.
All right, Shania. So you completed Sonic 2 in 3 minutes. That don't impress me much. Yeah, that's our answer.
I know, because unfortunately, we're, broadly speaking, most rooms we enter, we're the nerdiest person there, right?
Correct.
It's not often that we will be around other people who are better at games than us. Is that arrogant?
No, there was many occasions where people were better at games than me. Because I'm a nerd, it doesn't mean I'm good at games. All right?
No. Do you know what I mean, though? Broadly speaking, you're not surrounded by people who...
Yeah, sure, I could kick my boss's ass at Rocket League.
Well, there you
100%.
go. Maybe you should.
Maybe I fucking should, Sean.
Yeah.
What about that? Just prove my dominance in the office. Just turn up one day with an Xbox and a fucking couple of pads. 1-on-1, come on, let's go.
So Sean, what you're trying to say is that, we are the best. And so that's why nothing is very impressive.
Yeah,
You're in a losing situation every time with that, though, aren't you? Because if you're playing with I don't want to use the word, but I fucking will. Non-hardcore gamers, right? If you're playing a game with them, say FIFA or even Mario Kart or anything like that, if you thrash them, they sigh and go, "Oh, it's because you nerds, you play these games all the time."
Yeah.
But if they beat you, they see it as like the best achievement in the world, and it's like, well, I can't win. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh my god, I beat you, and you play these all the time." It's like, all right, there's no getting out of that situation.
Yeah, I mean, we're all talking as if we see other people in real life at the moment and social occasions.
It's nice to pretend.
I'm talking about a fictional past.
It is nice to pretend. Don't worry. Yeah. What is it? We're 2 months away from not wearing masks anymore. I think that was the claim, wasn't it?
Oh, we're going to be wearing masks for ages, yeah, aren't we?
Of course we are. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it's not going to end.
No. It's just going to be. I think even when it's not really a necessity, it's just going to be sort of polite. What, sorry?
I said, let's pick this show back up. That was a very depressing portion of the show, there, wasn't it?
Sorry, Maria. We're not impressed by anything, and we're going to be wearing masks for the next 2 years. Kurt Lewin says, hi, gents. Have you ever been jealous of a feature on another platform for a game? For example, I was always jealous of my PC-owning mates playing The Sims who could build a house with stairs, but my PS2 version didn't have the ability to have stairs for some reason, so it was a bungalow or nothing. Cheers.
But what's a Lewin? We're quite I've never far used away a Lewin from in the kitchen before, have you?
You what, sorry?
Just trying to work out what a Lewin is. I haven't got one of them in the kitchen, so I just... it must be some fancy, I don't know.
Can't have a loo in a kitchen. It's against regs.
It's definitely against regulations. Yeah, there's got to be another door, isn't there? Like another corridor or something.
2 doors. Yeah, so it has to be 2 doors.
Guesswork, isn't it? That's just guesswork. I'll look it up in the regs. Right, okay. What was the question? Have you ever been jealous of a feature on another platform for a game? Good question.
It's been a while though, hasn't it? Since there's been real sort of, if you play on this platform, you only get this or whatever. I mean, other than, Avengers on the PS4 has Spider-Man in it. Yes, that shit.
I mean, this would have been a good question.
And you weren't getting the Nintendo version. You must be jealous of that, surely. The fact that Star Fox is in it. You'd be like, well, what's the point in me owning the other one? I mean, it's like, there's 3 versions of the game. If you buy the Nintendo version, you get Star Fox and what is it called in that? Is it the A-Wing?
The R-Wing.
The R-Wing. The R-Wing. You get the R-Wing. You put your pad in the R-Wing. If you get the PlayStation version, you get this guy. It's like the most generic looking shit character ever. Crappy little spaceship.
This would be a good question, though, for an Amiga podcast, I think.
Well, this is it. Because this sort of question puts me in mind of the days when, you'd buy a Commodore 64 game and all the screenshots on the box are from the fucking arcade version. Which, I mean, I know they always declared it, but you're still like, how much worse can it look? Loads worse. Fucking loads worse.
I remember being at school and having Mortal Kombat on the Mega Drive and everyone going, what? There's blood in it. And I'm like, there's blood in it, boy. Don't you worry about that. Edgy.
Plus, it could always be worse. You could be a Spectrum owner.
I can't. True. I can't think of that in recent years, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think, because development has been, game development, broadly speaking, has been console-led for years now, hasn't it? There's, other than, your Half-Life Alyxes and stuff, when, Crysis came out, it was like, fuck, this will only ever happen on PC. This, there wasn't a console in the land could run it. That stuff doesn't really happen anymore.
I think the last time this happened was with the PS3 and the 360, isn't it? It's like, the PS3 didn't have a lot of things the 360 could do, particularly online play, being very convenient and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's not game specific, is it?
No, I guess not.
I would say probably the mod scene. I miss that from PC gaming because I was using PC. The mod stuff was great, and when you see some of the stuff they do with, say, Grand Theft Auto, it's like even the the sort of realism mods and all that sort of stuff. I just think, oh man, I'd love to play that with all the extra stuff that gets added to that game over the years. Also, we didn't mention that story, but that story of that modder managing to cut down loading times for GTA Online by 70% is utterly brilliant.
And they've just
Have you seen the
implemented
comparison
it in the
video?
Game. I did,
they said, I think this fixes it. And Rockstar we'll look into it. And then they come up with a statement a week later going, yeah, it totally fixes it. Fucking hell, look at this. It's like...
Didn't they give him 10 grand as well? Did they paid him more?
Is that all?
Yeah.
Give him more. Is it the money that game makes? Online currency.
That is, yeah.
Wow. It's a good story. But that's it for me. Some of the mods that you see on certain games.
You guys jealous of me playing the version of Cyberpunk that kind of works?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
That game's gone quiet, isn't it?
Hang on, sorry.
That game has gone very quiet, and you don't hear anything anymore about it, really.
It's probably the way to play it at this point, though, isn't it?
I'm just hoping that the next gen versions come out towards the end of the year or even the start of next year, and we go, oh, it's totally fixed now, and actually there's a decent game in there, because I still want to play it, but
it's all right.
I'm not going to play that.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Right, last one. This is from Lee, and I think he must have had to pay by the word, because he's just put, Lee loved Dawn. Marriage?
Question mark. I saw that today and I properly belly laughed. Cheers, Lee. What now Lee's doing now? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because he's the least likeable character in The Office, isn't he?
What's that?
He's the least likeable character in The Office.
No, he's not the least likeable.
He's up there with Finchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might be worse. but yeah, I mean, yeah, seeing your fiance go and kiss someone at the office party not live on telly, but on the telly, can't be. It's not real, David. I know it's not real. Let's do these socials, James Farley. He's just realised. He's got to do them.
I thought I didn't have to do anything. Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's funny.
Because people love it.
Yeah.
But I haven't prepared it this time.
All right, go.
I mean, it's the same.
Last time. No, seriously, because last time I kind of prepared it, and this time I've forgotten that you need to do
Socials, James Farley.
If you want to contact us, visit tcgs.co/deartcgs, and you can send us feedback there. We like that. You can also.
We like that.
There's also a Patreon, which is patreon.com/tcgs. I'm assuming. Yeah, there's lots of tiers and things and full nails. That'd be nice. Then we've also got a streaming schedule. There's streaming going on. Thursday, Sean, are you still doing All Creatures Great and Sean?
I am.
So Sean will be doing that at 9 o'clock on Thursday. Friday, I should be back to do Hitman at 9 p.m. The last mission with that, I enjoyed. It's a good game. It's a pretty good game.
You'll be done by about 9:10.
Probably, yeah.
Go on.
Great. David, are you doing Perfect Dark Zero still?
Probably. I'm also going to do the new season of Fall Guys launched today.
Oh, nice.
So I'm probably going to be streaming that tomorrow. And as you're listening to this, that was yesterday, so you've missed that. You missed that one. But no, I think probably throughout the week I'll be streaming some Fall Guys, because I had a quick go today, and the new levels look absolutely batshit mental. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I will be streaming that at some point. Keep your eye on Twitch. Always lock onto Twitch.
Yeah, there's stuff happening on there, and I don't want to do the Prime stuff. It's ridiculous. No, I don't want to. It's stupid. Everyone knows.
It's free money.
If you've got Twitch Prime, then you've also got Prime Gaming.
There you go.
No.
Use that subscription for our channel, please.
No, if you've got Amazon Prime, if you've got Amazon Prime, you've got
that money's
Twitch
nothing.
Prime.
You can't use that money.
You could use it for another channel, though.
Fucking hell, James.
But yeah, we'd like that. Just please, that'd be nice.
If you don't give it to us, it turns to ash. Right? Give it to us. Don't give it to anyone else.
Yeah.
Unless there's someone else
TCGS code for everything else. Yeah. There you go.
Well, thank you so much for living it this week. We will be back with a full cast next week, hopefully. And we'll have a new game to talk about. I'm looking forward to that.
Mate, have you forgotten what next week is?
I have, yeah.
What is it?
It's Sean talks about the new Monster Hunter game.
Okay. All right.
I think Dave might be ill next week.
We won't have a full cast next week. I will be off. But I'm sure the guys will have a lovely time. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for living it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.